Hey everybody, I hope everyone's well. Welcome to Time Capsule here on the Games Done Quick Hotfix, the show where we travel back in time to your favorite years in gaming and speedrun our way through popular or influential games released in a particular year. I am your host, Smooth Operative. Tonight we are taking a look back at the year 2001 with fresh speedruns of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle and later Eco. But before we get rolling, I am excited to announce our new marathon, Unapologetically Black and Fast, is coming up. It's the new recurring Hotfix marathon, and Black runners are the front and center in celebration of Black joy. In this first iteration, it will be running February 12th through the 13th for 12 hours a day, so be on the lookout for that. We are very excited. But for right now, we are going to get into some Sonic Adventure 2 battles, so please welcome Savik to the show. Please feel free to introduce yourself and commentary.
All right, thank you so much. So hi everybody, my name is Savik. I am a Sonic Adventure 2 Battle speedrunner, and I am beyond excited to showcase my favorite category in the game, Dark Story. Don't think you'll find another runner who loves it as much as I do. Not sure how that one happened, but it did. I don't know. I love playing Dark Story. I love watching other people play Dark Story, teaching people to play Dark Story, and if you haven't figured out yet, you will very soon. I just love talking about Dark Story. I'll give my commentators a chance to introduce themselves real quick.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? My name is Don, also a runner of this game, and excited to be here. It's been a really long time since we've seen Dark Story in an event, and it's going to be cool. We have a lot of new stuff, so excited.
I'm Gerb98. I've been running this game about 3 years, and it's really cool to be on here, and thank you, Savik, for helping me commentate this run for you. And Savik's been a longtime rival of mine, just been grinding up the leaderboards with them over the years, so this is all really cool stuff.
Yeah, kind of crazy how we stayed at the same level for so long. So, very excited to be here. I handpicked these commentators. I think they're going to do a great job. Without further ado, we are going to get right on into it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam. So we are going to be playing 3 different characters in Dark Story here. Dr. Eggman, Shadow the Hedgehog, and Rouge the Bat in order of appearance. Each of the 3 characters are going to have a very unique playstyle, and as speedrunners, we have to optimize all 3. So up first with Eggman, the gimmick here is that in his mech, he has very clunky movement. So the big problem that casual players have, or brand new speedrunners, is just learning how to control the mech. And as you'll see here, if I try to take a sharp turn, all of my speed just goes away. So as speedrunners, the way that we circumvent this obvious flaw is when we go around corners, we just do a little bit of a jump there, and it allows us to keep our speed. And as I'm waiting for this elevator to fall, I will address what many people are probably wondering. Yes, this is not the default music in Iron Gate. I have Amy's theme playing. I think it's funny, and that's really the only reason. It just thematically makes absolutely no sense for Eggman to be playing this. I am missing rings. That should fix it. Okay. Don't know how I missed the checkpoint there, but that was weird. So I am strategically routing my rings here, and that's the reason I had to go back after the elevator. So what I've done here, I'm going to note the time that I touched this elevator. It was at about 1 minute and 9 seconds, and I have 81 rings. In this game, if you have between 80 and 89 rings, when you touch a checkpoint, you get speed shoes. So I'm just waiting for the elevator to reach the bottom, and once it's down there, I will activate the speed shoes and run through a bit of a straightaway section. This will afford me approximately 2 seconds of time save, and we'll do a bit of a leap of faith here. Okay, wasn't that much faith though, I kind of played it a bit safe. So that's mostly going to do it here for Iron Gate. The final thing here is there's a big series of doors we're supposed to blow up with a missile. If I angle Eggman just right, I can actually shoot it all the way from here, instead of jumping all the way up an elevator. So it's going to save me a decent chunk of time. Looks like we're getting a nice Iron Gate. Anything under 2 minutes is A-okay with me. And that's one stage down. You will also note, assuming I've set this up correctly, that we are not going to receive an emblem. I am using a strat known as Emblem Skip Glitch. It just saves a little bit of RTA. Now we get our first look at Shadow the Hedgehog, codename Edgy the Hedgy. And we will be fighting our first boss, Hotshot. And as long as we can prevent him from going airborne, the boss is quite a bit neutered, actually. He really can't do anything. We're just going to keep bonking him on the head. For the final hit, I will let him go up into the air, because Hotshot has a shorter death animation when he's airborne. So I would have gotten a high 23 if I actually continued to bonk him on the ground. Up next, we're finally going to get to see Rouge the Bat with our first major reset point in the run, Dry Lagoon. The RNG variance in this stage is just beyond terrible. I'm going to focus on doing what I need to do to find my pieces, and my commentators will take it away.
Great start so far, Savik, and got a green ping, so we won't be seeing any resets. Rouge is the treasure hunting playstyle in this game, and we'll be seeing Savik look for all 3 pieces of the Master Emerald hidden in the stage. These are actually RNG, so they're randomly determined. There's about 100 pieces per set, and as Savik mentioned, the RNG can be really bad in this stage, so fortunately it's looking like a decent set, but we'll still have to see. One of the big optimizations so far is just set recognition and understanding which sets are going to be good, and we'll usually reset them if they're not. And unfortunately, we got a jail piece, one of the worst in the stage. Still a decent time with it, though.
Yeah, not super happy about seeing the Dry Lagoon jail show up in a marathon run. I did get to showcase a nice little movement optimization called underwater gliding there. But anyway, now we move on to the second major reset point in the run. It's crazy that they happen back to back like this, but there's a very difficult strat that I'm going to have to be going for. I'm also going to be resetting at the beginning of the stage because there's a lot of cycles that move, and they are moving during this opening cutscene. Anyway, I'm going to need to focus on hitting this strat.
Yeah, so a little bit of a trick that he's going to go for here. It's called sand walking, and it's actually one of the crazier tricks in the game, and I'm going to see if he can...
Oh, let's go!
Let's go.
So what happened there was, in this game, quicksand doesn't actually kill you until a second after you touch it, unlike normal kill planes, which kill you right away. But there are ways to break out of the quicksand in that first second, so you keep on living. And one of them is with the balloon that you didn't see. And popping a balloon while not being grounded causes your character to fly up a little bit in the air. So if you shoot a bullet at the same time that you land in the quicksand, it boosts you up and puts you in this
I still hit it?
half death state.
Oh my god! I don't know! My walking animation put me just low enough to hit the upgrade because the enemy was dead. Okay, wow. I'm just a little bit in shock with what just happened because that was almost like a 40-second time loss. Okay. Bit of a spooky jump coming up. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, we are out of there. Not taking that cycle. Okay, well, this is going to make this next part a little bit uncomfortable for me, but I'm still going to go for this spooky jump here. Okay, we got it. Perfect.
Nice.
So we are out of Sand Ocean. Nice. Just a couple more jumps left to do. We're going to use these pillars here for a bit of a damage boost to get up. And really the last thing left to do is we're going to get this weight to take us up. I'm going to let the weight hit me. There's really no actual strat here. It's just, I enjoy it, I guess. Big the cat on the left side of our screen there. There he is, as we hug the left wall to avoid all the enemies, jump into the goal ring, and that's going to do it. So up next, now that we are safely out of the very, very dangerous Sand Ocean, we move on to Radical Highway, our first real look at Shadow the Hedgehog gameplay. And I am going to do my best to showcase a bunch of movement optimizations that's happened. This stage has seen a bit of a renaissance in the past year due to runners like Divu and KD4 just pushing it to ridiculous levels. We're going to be jumping around buildings. We're going to be clearing gigantic gaps, running under barriers, and even moonwalking. I'm going to focus on hitting all of that stuff, as my commentators explain.
Yeah, so right here we're going to see storage coming up. Basically, the game is trying to decide whether or not you're somersaulting or spin dashing right there, where Savik went under the barrier without losing any speed. We can use that to charge a spin dash and also not lose any speed at the same time. So that's a really nice optimization. Coming up is a moonwalk strat. Let's see. Oh, so close. If you're able to hit that box. Oh, nice. Nice backup.
Oh, okay. Missed that moonwalk too. Unfortunate.
if you're able to hit the box while going backwards like that, you actually lose speed very slowly, so you're able to keep pretty much max speed. And then if you hit the box, you're able to hit the spring inside of the box. Clutch save there.
Don't know what that was.
This is a radical highway.
This is a radical highway. Really? It really is, though.
It's all moments from disaster, but all good.
Okay, we've got one more disaster to try and avert coming up.
Yeah, you got this.
Yeah, so we have a big, probably one of the biggest skips in the stage here. It's called Gap Jump. Let's see how this goes. Let's go. That's a new one. I'm sure that's never been shown off before.
That's definitely never been shown off before.
Great job.
Increasingly popular, though. You're seeing more and more runners do it, and it's really sick, so it's awesome to see. Glad we got to see it.
Shout out to Gert for calling this time before the run.
You did.
This is the goat of SA2 of sub 150? No way!
Hey, you know what? With that many things going wrong and getting a sub 150, that's pretty darn impressive. Come on, you got to give it to me, right?
We take those.
All right, so up next, we've got another treasure hunting stage, Egg Quarters. So similar to Dry Lagoon, I'm going to be looking for my pieces. There is one big quirk that may show up, and that is that sometimes it is opportune to take an intentional death strat, respawn in the starting red room, and hopefully have a piece waiting for me. We'll see what pieces I get and see if it's worth my while to do that. And yes, it will be.
So yeah, this is a piece one where Savick could get a free piece. That's why he killed both of those robots as well as that monkey right there as well, because there can be free pieces in those. However, he did not get any. So we're just going to hope that after he gets this piece in the green room and then takes an intentional death, that he gets a spawn piece right in the red room. And there are a couple checks that he can do with the pings to figure out which one it is without actually reading a hint.
All right, let's see what we're dealing with. Okay.
Okay, we take those. Yeah, so death strats are really nice in this game. We might see them as well in Security Hall, but basically the thought process is it only checks the first piece, right? So since these pieces in the red room are so far away from the P1, with death strat we re-roll the pieces and we can get a piece really close like that.
Don't know how I missed that one, to tell you the truth, but it's all right.
I mean, let's hope we don't have to see any more death strats, though. Like, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, no. If I have to see any more, they're not good. We will see a reset strat, however, here in Lost Colony, because any stage that has a rendered cutscene such as this, the timer starts 0.85 seconds early. So that is the amount of time save I'm going to save by resetting here, minus however long it takes me to do it. Also, for whatever reason, the elevator starts higher on the second load. I have no idea why. So with Lost Colony, we are going to be once again focusing on core Eggman movement, and we will be seeing an upgrade a little bit later in the stage that's going to fundamentally change how Eggman plays for the rest of the game. But we got to get there first. So again, we're going to be trying to really just make sure we're getting through doors nice and cleanly. There are a couple switches that just have terrible hitboxes. The one up here is the most notorious by far. And we did hit it, so that's good. As I make my way through this, I'm going to be taking a very, very light turn there to make sure I don't lose my speed. And here's the upgrade here, the jet engine. And basically, with this upgrade, it's going to allow us to hover. And hover is a bit of a broken upgrade, because if you hover in the ascending phase of your jump, you get additional height. And we can utilize that to our advantage by utilizing the pause, because the closer the A inputs are together, the more height you get. And the pause allows those A inputs to be closer than really you could ever expect to do without a pause, basically better than humanly possible. And it allows us to clear large gaps such as the one that I just cleared. And it will be on full display in the next Eggman stage as we clear much more massive gaps. Up here, we've got the Lost Colony elevator. We will be seeing our best buddy, Big the Cat, on the left side. But other than that, there's not a ton else to say here. I do wonder if my commentators have any fun facts that they would like to share at this point.
Well, you know, GURP is my name, but it's also a name for a term in this game as well. I am famous for getting PBs that are less than 5 seconds, and in a game like this, you do see more PBs that are like 10 seconds or more, stuff like that. But not me. I'm only good enough to PB by like a couple seconds each time. So people call those PBs a GURP if it's 5 seconds or less, and a micro GURP is a PB by half a second or less. So
Yeah,
I will take that claim to fame in this game. I will go to the grave with that happy.
I may have coined both of those personally, and really everything that's named after GURP, and there's like 20 things, are all named by me. Oh, I had to punch that enemy, I guess. I don't know why, but I had to punch him.
And that's a certified GURP fact for you.
That is a certified GURP fact. Those are my favorite facts, honestly. So if that wasn't enough Eggman gameplay for you, we are going right back in with another Eggman stage, weapons bed, and we are going to be utilizing, the pause hover mechanic in full force here, right off the bat to skip an upgrade. The big cannon is supposed to be used to break steel containers, but we're not going to get it. It's on our left right here. Instead, we jump up onto the water tower here, and we are going to clear a massive gap right now. There we go. That time it worked. So everything under me is water. Water is a kill plane, so we need to make sure we have enough height if we're going to be doing that. Here, I don't even need the pause. I can actually just make it around very easily. And we are going to be clearing a couple additional gaps as well. But really, the rest of the stage is pretty straightforward. I will note that I move exceptionally fast on these aircraft carriers. You actually move as fast as you would with speed shoes. For whatever reason, the developers made it so that you just go at speed shoe speed on aircraft carriers. And I'll actually demonstrate that by grabbing speed shoes for you guys. Just bear with me. I'm going to clear one more gap. This one's a little bit more spooky. Oh. There we go. It's a bit of a leap of faith, even more than the other one. You have to have total confidence if you're going to go for that. But it is relatively safe. Now here we go, 89 rings. Like I said, 80 to 89 rings will give speed shoes. As you can see, I am not going even remotely faster on the aircraft carrier. When I get it up on the water tower, however... Oh. Okay. We're having a bit of a time. I'm going to use these boxes. Oh, come on! Evil. Come on! You gotta be kidding me. Okay, no. So I'm using a strat known as GURP Jump because I name all of my strats after GURP. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about that. But wow, what a weapons bed.
Yeah, it happens.
You know, I really should have been... I was trying to avoid a little, like, commentating quirk that I have where when I pause the game, I also have a tendency to pause my commentary. So I was trying not to, and that just did not pay off. So here we go. We got the first fight with Tails. It's been like over 10 minutes since we've had a fight. Every single boss in this game has predictable AI. So as long as I play out the fight exactly the same way, he will respond in the same way, so I can just sit in front of him, face tank him, and I know I'm not going to die. So up next, we have our next lovely treasure hunting stage. Absolutely horrible casually because there's a built-in 5-minute timer. There's the gimmick in this stage is that there are 3 colored safes, blue, yellow, and red. Blue is active by default, but it's actually a global variable, so I went on a different file and changed it to yellow because yellow is statistically the best color safe. Anyway, I'm going to focus on my pieces.
So, yeah, we're going to see... Okay, this is not a bad first piece one, but it's usually the piece 2s that we worry about where he can get a safe piece that he cannot access, and there is one of them. That is a safe piece, and... So we have to do a death strat, and we're going to hope that it's yellow this time or something else.
Okay, it's a far one.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy, let's see which one it is. It's the enemy. Okay.
Oh, RNG is not in our favor today, it looks like.
Oh, jeez, no. I'm glad I forgot to have live split open. Oh, we get to do this clip.
Nice. Who needs a rocket?
Yeah, exactly. We're not breaking that with the missile. We're going right through. Okay, well, you know what? It's a 37 plus the death. I forgot to have live split open, so I have no idea what pace I'm on. It's probably better that way. So up next, we have Flying Dog. I'm going to again be doing a reset here just for the minuscule amounts of time save. Oh, wow, that's a frame perfect reset, actually. Don't see those too often. So we're going to be doing an AI manipulation here. The first step is to hit a spiral upper right at the beginning. Perfect. Hit number 2, hardest trick in the game. Hit number 2 involves hitting this guy as he's just out of bounds trying to come in. That's going to lock him into the corner. If I turn him in just the right way, we will continue to have him stay in this corner and avoid him just flying around the entire arena. And I jump on the box here for the final hit, and done. Nice. That actually went pretty well.
Good fight.
Yeah, I'm happy with the 32. Okay, up next we get another Shadow the Hedgehog stage. This one's really just going to be focusing on fundamental movement. This is an exceptionally jank stage that just loves to launch you into the air. Hopefully it doesn't do that to me. I do need to focus because there's a lot of things that can go wrong, so take it away, guys.
Yeah, so one of the main struggles with this stage is how the collision for a lot of these like slopes that you'll see here really they're kind of weird to navigate, and they can throw Shadow around in really weird ways. There's no major skips in this stage for the most part. There's like a few things that we'll do that will save some time, but most of it is just tight movement and navigating the slopes well. Here's a cool weight jump. Yeah, so one of the big things coming up here will be a loop skip. This can kind of be a little bit of RNG in the way that that throws you. Not actually, but it feels like it. All right, very nice strat there. Yeah.
Now we're coming up on spring skip, which also utilizes storage. You don't need storage, but it helps a lot. So if you just got to kind of stay in the middle of that slope there and use your storage, and you get right over the spring. Tripped up on the grass, sometimes you can just, go smoothly right over it, and it saves extra time. But still cool to see spring skip happen there.
White Jungle is just such a cool stage to watch. Very flashy. A lot of technical movement and tricks here.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, definitely very solid.
Okay, well, we have probably the most famous cutscene in the game coming up next. Mostly because it's unskippable, so we have to listen to it. And I just don't have the heart to talk over it.
Are you honestly telling me, Savik, you do not want to voice these lines?
Do I have to?
I think you missed the line already.
I've already missed them. No, you're making me talk over it.
Alright, we'll let it go.
You guys.
So one of the cool things in this game that helps for speedrunning is a lot of the bosses can predict, or we can pretty much predict how they're going to move. And so Savik did some pretty specific movement there to try to manipulate some.
Yeah, it did not go well.
Yeah.
He went and did a high jump on me. I think I was just holding the wrong angle because I don't have my input display up. Anyway, we are going to have another stage coming up here, Route 280. Also, Eggman's got some sort of announcement to make. So for Route 280, we're going to be utilizing a strat known as drifting, which is going to involve me snaking back and forth. But before I can really do that and talk about that, there is something else that I want to set up for you guys. I don't normally do this because it will lose me a bit of time, but because of where I am right now, I'm going to do it. So bear with me as I just focus and make sure that I set this up properly.
For the millions watching around the world. And he does it. We are backwards driving.
Oh, what the hell? What?
No.
I want my money back. I lost time for this.
This is unfortunate.
What?
Do you have a backup
And that was
spot?
the last thing we had to show off this run.
Oh man!
That's
all right.
Man.
That is like actually kind of upsetting. I have a backup spot, but it's way later. Anyway, I guess we'll just ignore that and talk about why I'm drifting. So drifting is going to allow me to move faster. That's the TLDR of it. The more mechanical explanation is that it removes something called the deceleration cap. So when you're driving normally, there's a speed cap, and when you boost, you're going faster than that. The game will notice that you're going too fast and try and slow you down, and drifting just removes that cap. But there is one major caveat to it, and that's that you can no longer accelerate on your own when you're drifting, so the gravity of these downhill slopes is what I'm relying on to speed back up. The uphills will slow me down, and if I happen to hit a car, it is just absolutely catastrophic for my overall time loss. Every time you hit one, it's terrible. I have no idea what kind of pace I'm on right now. This blue car is not supposed to be there. This red car is evil incarnate, but I think I'm more than slow enough to not get hit by him today. Up next, we have affectionately referred to as the Tunnel of Love, because there are these enclosed spaces with these cars, and they just kind of want to give you a hug because they love you, and we don't reciprocate their feelings, so I try to dodge them, and as long as I do, everything's okay.
Yeah, that's one thing about this stage is same thing with the Tails version. Oh, there we go. Now we got
Nice.
it.
Yeah, we got it back.
Same thing with Route 101, but not only is it bad when you like bonk on a wall or something and lose a little bit of time, like because obviously you're losing time, but it also does kind of mess up the placement of what you're used to for where the cars are, and that makes it difficult to know how to properly navigate around turns and such.
Yeah, fun fact, if you take a look at the time in the upper left corner, when I finish the stage here, it's going to show my time as a very high 244, but the time is lying to you. It's kind of a remnant of very early code in the game. We're actually going to get a low 244, I believe. And it's just kind of like almost a game within a game. This is not how the timer is supposed to work, but it auto fixes itself to the way it's supposed to be for parity with the other stages. Tails also looked a little funky. That's how Tails looked before he was a playable character. Anyway, we've got Skyrail, and once again, like all Shadow stages, I need to focus.
So yeah, with Skyrail, it's almost like a half Shadow stage because you skip so much of the actual stage that you finish in like right around 40 seconds. So
Jeez, it's not going to be 40. Come on. I'm not that good.
Oh wait, you're
Around
not
there.
KD4. I thought this was KD4 playing. Never mind.
I thought we were going for IL strats right now.
Talk
So,
about
yeah.
unrealistic expectations.
So yeah, Savick doing pumpkin jumps to skip a lot of the rails and sections of the mountains, and pretty clean so far. So not too much else to say. It goes by really, really fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Casually, you might remember jumping on those like springs to go up, and we don't touch a single one in the speedrun. So
Yeah. All right. So up next, we have a nice little boss. But before we get into that, there's actually somebody who would like to say hello to us. Don't know who it is. It could be anybody, right? Wait for it. There he
It's a
is.
Sinister Taco.
That is definitely who that was. So for this boss, we're just going to be shooting these weak points. They deal double damage. It's an extremely trivial fight. There's not a whole lot to say. There we go. Really had difficulty getting those hits off. And normally you can go into the sand and die, and the timer stops. It's a bit of a optimization. I just didn't go for it. In the off chance I actually do take the death, that would be pretty tragic. Up next, my signature stage, Mad Space. We'll see if I get a nice set. I'm hoping I get to show off something cool. Please, game.
yeah,
That ain't
so
it.
if you remember this, if you remember Dark Story, playing this casually, this stage is rough because the hints are backwards, but we memorized them all, so we don't have to try to read it. We kind of just know what it is. Savick here going for upgrade skip, not having to get the iron boots at all. Nice job. And yeah, there's a lot of restarting going on here because there's some pieces that are just all the way up at the top, and going all the way up is slow. This piece is funny because it's called the top of the capsule, so you'd think you wanted to go to the top of the capsule,
Well, let's
right?
see. Maybe it's the real top.
But it might not actually be there.
Nope.
And it's not. It's the bottom of the capsule. Thank you, game.
Honestly, that just kind of sums up the RNG you got this round. 'Cause it went
Yeah.
It was so bad.
It doesn't get much worse, honestly. Very unfortunate. Who knows?
alright.
You can get a good piece from here, though, sometimes.
Oh?
Maybe.
Okay, well, please. This is 3 potential pieces.
Let's
Oh,
go.
yes.
So that was another chance to be somewhere else, but we got the good one. Let's go.
Jeez, imagine if I actually guessed the 50-50 correctly. It might have been a good time. All right. Well, up next we have a split that I am unfortunately infamous for. It is named #1 Run Killer on my splits. I am probably the worst person at this relative to their skill level in the game. It just doesn't agree with me at all. God, I hope this goes well, but I'm also probably the best at backing up the fight because of how often it doesn't go well for me, so we'll see. Please?
Yeah, because of how we manipulate Knuckles here, we don't grab a ring until after the first hit, so it's super easy to just mistime it and have Knuckles hit you instead. There you go.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Got
And
through
yeah, the Knuckles AI just doesn't know what to do when you're over his head and just stepping on him repeatedly. So up next, we have a really nice stage that I just love to talk about, Cosmic Wall, an incredibly technical Eggman stage that is really fun to play skipless. We will not be doing that today. And what I thought I would do for you guys is tell you not about what I'm doing in the stage, because I don't think it's as interesting as talking about what I'm not doing, because this stage actually has a rich history of skips that I would just love to give you a brief history on. So bear with me as I just quickly perform the skip that we do in runs now. And once I'm safely out, I will tell you about the history of Cosmic Wall skips. The skip I'm doing here is actually the fastest and easiest of all of the major skips in the stage. There's a kill plane on my left, there's a kill plane on my right. There's also one above and below me, but they're not going to be particularly relevant here. And we are safely out. So what I wanted to talk about is, we'll start with Cosmic Wall skip, which basically I would climb up the tower instead of clipping out of bounds where I did, and then all the way back down and toward the auto-scroller section. And what they used to do is they would clip out of bounds to avoid the auto-scroller and then clip right back into the stage when the auto-scroller ends. And it was a pretty smart idea, honestly. But things changed when a runner known as Sadistic Mystic, an old school runner and highly respected, had a dream. As crazy as it sounds, he dreamed, what if, instead of clipping back into the stage, you just don't and fly all the way to the goal ring? And he woke up and he tried it and it worked, so they named it Dream Skip, which I think probably began the era of actual good skip names in this community. So Dream Skip is technically, if your movement's suboptimal, actually the better of the two. If you have perfect movement, the older variant was better. But then they started using a strat known as Cosmic Wall Skip, or Swiss, because it skipped those variants. You just broke out of bounds earlier at the top of the tower, and because you had so much additional height, you were able to glide all the way to a much later section of the stage. And that is still not the skip that I did. Instead of doing Swiss, I did a skip known as Swiss Cheese to confuse all new runners of the game. And that is a strat that was discovered by Ethmar. And it was revealed in absolute spectacular fashion. Ethmar discovered the trick about a week before the grand finals of a Dark Story tournament in 2018 and shared it with the other runner, KD4, the GOAT of SA2. Nobody knew this was coming. They revealed it to us live in Game 1 of the Grand Finals. Not even the commentators knew about it. And I just remember I was there for it, and I was just so... I was utter shock. I had no words. I still basically have no words for it. It's probably like my #1 speedrunning moment ever. And I hope to feel that way again about a new strat one day. But I love talking about that story. And yeah, that's going to do it here for Cosmic Wall. I think we're getting about a 320 here. Or so. Maybe slightly higher than that.
Great listen,
Okay.
Dr. Savick. Clap.
Yeah, thank you. That concludes our history lesson with Savick. So,
Question:
yes.
when did I lose my GOAT title to this KD4? What?
Probably when she got every single main category world record. So
Yeah,
we have 3 splits left to go, 2 bosses and 1 stage. Up next we have Tails 2, much more aggressive than the Eggman 2 counterpart. I'm going to try a manip here. Walk forward, do a shot there, glide back, turn around, shoot, wait for him to lose his invincibility, lock on, get the hit, perfect, one more, bam! Alright, that actually went remarkably well.
All right.
Okay.
Now
Gurp,
Savick
take it over.
Savik has to really focus here because this is about to be the first ever fling skip at a marathon. I think he can do it. So fling skip is one of the newest and biggest dark skips that we've seen in years. So really what's going to happen here is Savik is going to stay crouched on the rail, and he's going to try to jump off the rail at a specific time. He has 2 frames to do it. Let's see what frame he gets. He has 8:12 or 8:14 to work with. He goes with 8:10 and gets the late jump, and he is going to weave between 2 kill planes, turn the camera while maintaining gravity, and he does not have to deal with what we call partial gravity reset, is where you have to maneuver Shadow just slightly so he gets pulled towards the goal ring. But Savik found a way to just maneuver between 2 kill planes that you can't even see, switch Shadow, and now we're going all the way to the goal ring and just going to skip the entire stage. And we should be able to use hover frames to make it over, and he does just like that. First try, fastest FC you have ever seen in a marathon, right there.
The king of fling.
Yes, they do call me the king because I am very clutch at this skip. So, run's almost over. What a bummer. We've got 1 fight left. We've got to hit Sonic 2 5 times. Time will be on the 5th hit. It is a relatively straightforward fight. We'll be chaining homing attacks. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and done. Let's go.
Let's go. GG.
Oh, I wish I had my splits going. I don't know what the time was.
Well, rough RNG that run, but pretty good execution, so good
I
job.
think it was pretty good otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that.
It was a 33:55.
Pretty good RTA.
Yeah, very, very good, I would say. Underestimate, always a good thing. Savik, was there something else that you were thinking of maybe?
Yes, there was one
little
other thing
secret,
that I would like to
perhaps?
showcase. Okay, I'm just gonna have to make sure that I get my stream back up on Discord as well.
Sure.
So, Fling Skip, I have very mixed feelings. Also, you'll see I have no emblems on this file, and that's because of the emblem skip glitch. But yeah, I was really, really upset in a way when we discovered Fling Skip because I had to suddenly not play my favorite stage in the game. So we are going to right that wrong right now, and I'm going to show off what the stage is supposed to look like. So we are not going to be jumping off with skewed gravity. Instead, we're going to be clearing this entire gap. Oh, that's not good. All right, this is fine. We'll just take the spring. So we'll be using hover frames a lot. Oh, that's no good.
Unfortunate.
You can tell how often I do this now.
To be fair, we kind of sprung this on Savik just before the run, so
Yeah, Fling
thank you
Skip
for
was-
accommodating us.
Fling Skip was like one of the, I think, honestly, you can argue it's one of the biggest discoveries in SA2 history just because, like, a skip for this stage was theorized for so long, and they finally found it almost 20 years after this game came out. Like, that's a pretty long time. And it was one of the most sought-after skips as well. And it's such a difficult stage. It really separated, before the skip, it really separated like the amazing runners from the runners that were pretty much just getting average times. So it was really like a big testament to your skill if you had a good skipless time in this stage.
Hey, there's the VAC.
Made it.
The VAC made it onto GDQ.
Yeah.
The stupid strat I named after myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of people were saying at the time when Fling Skip was found that JW actually saved Dark Story. And what people meant by that is that there was a harder version that skipped all of FC, but only 2 people could do it. So in this skip, most Dark Runners do Fling Skip, so it's really cool to see that kind of time gap between like the top couple runners like shrink a little bit more, and they just don't have like a 2-minute lead over everyone else.
I know. The category basically died because it's like, well, you can't compete if you can't perform that skip. This is unfortunate. Where am I going? Oh, we got jam and skip.
Let's go.
You're kidding. You had one job.
I know. I'm sorry, Gerp. Let's die and do it again.
One of my biggest contributions to this game. You have to show it. My whole half-second time save.
Gerp discovered one thing in this game, and I didn't show it. I'm sorry, bro.
No, we're good.
All right, let's see if we can get it. It's JSS, right? Jam and
JSS.
So normally here on this rail, it'll fling you up and then give you jammin'. But if you jump like that, perfect. You can skip that, and it saves a lot of time because you lose a ton of speed when the rail throws you up like that.
Yeah, I think it's almost a full second actually, if done like completely optimally.
Yeah, that wasn't a perfect one, but yeah, it can be about a second.
Also,
Right, one big skip coming in.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oops, that slide
Shadow?
was scary.
Yeah, what was that?
And let's go.
Tube skip.
Nice job.
Let's go.
We take those.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, well, that's probably about what we have time to showcase, I think.
Sure, yeah. Well, I appreciate you being here, Savik, Don, Gerb. Do you have any shout outs or anything you'd like to say to our viewers before we head over to the next speed run?
Yeah, I've got a few things. I guess I'll go first. I do have a few things to say now, and I have one that I want to bring up at the end. But first and foremost, I'm just so thankful to GDQ for having me on the channel and getting a chance to just showcase the category that I love, and share that love with other people. If for whatever reason you can tolerate listening to the sound of my voice and listening to me talk for extended periods of time, by all means, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Savik. I run this stuff all the time. I don't do much else. This is just my baby. And the other thing, and more importantly, this run is not just about me. It's really just a product of the work that's gone into this game by the entire community. We tried to shout out some runners when we could, but there's so many people that I just didn't have time to bring up. But this is really just a celebration of what we've been able to do to this game and to this category in the past couple years. The category Dark Story, it's really kind of taken off since around 2018, the last time it's been shown off. And I'm just always really happy to show it. So I will hand it over to my commentators for them to plug whatever they would like to talk about. And then I have one more thing.
Yeah, so two things real quick. First off, I didn't get to do this during the run, unfortunately, but shoutouts to a Sinister Taco in the chat. I see him right now. And then two, I make video essay style videos on my YouTube, The Way to Dawn. The Way to Dawn with 3 N's or Dawn SR. Either one, it'll show up. But yeah, and shout out to the SA2 community in general, like Savik said. Great community. Finding so much. Like, both Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are going crazy right now. Super cool to see both communities succeeding. They're, I feel like they've been underrated speedruns for a long time, so they're getting the attention they deserve recently, and it's good to see.
Yeah, and then thanks again to Savik for picking me to do commentary. This GDQ was like the first channel I ever watched, so actually being able to talk on here has been a pretty cool moment. Quick shout outs to Micah Cool Money, Aura A66, Drum Basher, Pasta, Huga, Scoob, Alpha Dolphin. That's where I'll stop there. But yeah, I also speedrun both of the Sonic Adventure games, SA1 and SA2. And that is on, well, twitch.tv/GERB98 if you ever want to check that out. But yeah, I really do like the community that we have. The SA2 Discord is a pretty cool place for just interacting with the other runners, and also it's just set up in such a way with all of our resources and just help guides and just so many different ways to gain knowledge about the game, and people are always willing to help. Like I know people say that all the time about their games, but the SA2 runners are really all about getting you better, and they'll pop off for all your runs, whether it's like a beginner level time or a super good time. Like we're always here for you. So
we'll react with the A rank on your PB if you post it on the Discord server.
Yeah, even if it's a beginner time, you're gonna get like 10 A rank reactions minimum. So
oh yeah,
it's a good feeling.
Yeah, I will definitely echo that. It's a very welcoming community. We will hop into VC and help you with skip if you're having difficulty with it. We're always happy to help people. Between Gerp and I, we've probably taught over half of this community how to do fling skip. And what I will say is that there's really never been a better time to start with this game because the resources are growing at a ridiculous rate. We have two people in particular who've been putting in massive work that I want to acknowledge. For Dark Story, a runner named Juice has been making a ton of tutorials. Most of the stages are done. For Hero Story, a runner known as Trader, DTrader1 on Twitch. I apologize, I can't remember Juice's. I think it's Juice_Polydot. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you. So Trader has been doing the Hero Story stages. I think he's done up to Metal Harbor now. And yeah, I mean, we are very excited when new people come along. In fact, a brand new person joined the community maybe a few days ago and has actually discovered a strat for Chow Garden speedrunning and by extension 180 that has the potential to break that portion of the run. And there's just so many new strats to find, and you could be the person who actually finds a new strat for us, and we would love you immensely if you were that person. So I have one final thing that I want to plug, and then that'll do it for me. I did check beforehand, and I just got permission earlier today to announce this, but there will be an event that the SA2 community is putting forward. Basically, one of the alternate categories for Dark Story, restricted skips. It's basically the same, except the major skips have been cut out. So, like, you're not going to see sand walking, you're not going to see fling skip, you're not going to see Swiss cheese. The rule set for that did recently change, and so the world record that we have right now actually has some strats that are no longer valid. So we are putting together, an event to break that world record. It's going to have KD4, Drum Basher 004, Aura A66, and myself. And the hope is that somebody beats the record so that we have a new valid record to put for the category. This is going to be taking place on February 12th, which is a Saturday, between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard on twitch.tv/ oh boy. I believe SAESR_events. Please, Don, is that right?
Yeah, can I link that? Is that okay?
Yes, please, if we're allowed to drop a link. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Once again, thank you so much for having us and for having our game. We were just if you put the link in the Discord, they'll drop it. By the way, somebody. So anyway, thank you again for having us. We are so blessed to be on the channel, and I hope that everybody enjoyed watching the game, and I hope that at least it's something that people would consider running in the future. We are always looking for new runners, but otherwise, thank you so much, and I will pass it back over to Tippy.
Sure, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Savik, Don, Gerp, for being here. Everyone watching, if you enjoyed the run, please make sure you follow everyone. All the names should be displayed on the screen for you. But I want to thank everyone for being here again. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, did you know you can go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you're interested in our live content starting most nights 7 p.m. Eastern, weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Also, your subscriptions, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support our weekly hotfix content, including this show. So if you are enjoying hotfix, feel free to support the channel. But with that, we are going to be right back, going to set up for Eco, so stick around. And everybody, welcome back to Time Capsule here on the Games Done Quick Hotfix, the show where we travel back in time to your favorite years in gaming and speedrun our way through popular or influential games released in a particular year. I am still your host, Smooth Operative, and joining me right now for Eco is Blinkum and Sancho Panda. Welcome, both of you.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's going to be fun.
Of course. So if you want to, you can go ahead and introduce yourself to our lovely viewers.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Blinkum, or I usually just go by Blink, to be honest.
Sure, yeah,
and then,
that's fine.
Eco speedrunner and just all-around video game fan. And I'm joined by Sancho Panda, who is my mentor in this game, our world record holder, and all-around swell human.
You say, you're kind of into video games, and you've got that huge catalog, like, wallpaper of games behind you.
All you need to pay attention to is the eco standee. That's all we care about today.
Yay!
Oh, that's
Woohoo!
cool that you have one of those. That is fandom. I love that.
Yeah, we're excited. We've got some fun, even musical surprises for you along the way.
Excellent.
Yeah, we'll have a whole number for you. This game has a fun ending, we'll say. So, I'm ready whenever you are, so I can give you a countdown.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, good luck.
Thank you. So you'll note that the category is 60 hertz. This is actually the re-released version on the PS3, and really it's the version that came out everywhere other than the PS2 version that was released in North America. We tend to run that version mostly because you can skip all the cutscenes or almost all the cutscenes, but there are also some other things that are just significantly easier in this version that I'll let Sancho explain.
Oh yeah, so when the game originally came out back in 2001, it was released early because the US pressured to have Eco be like one of their title games for the PlayStation 2. So it was released early, and there's like some unfinished puzzles, unfinished textures. It's not balanced very well. You can't quit a lot of cutscenes. The shadows have way more HP and they're way more aggressive. That version of the game, it's also 60 hertz, but I'd rather call it Hertz So Good.
Oh my gosh.
And if we were to play that, we could literally be here all night, because even Blink and I, very experienced runners, can easily die multiple times in that version of the game. It's brutal.
I did my first playthrough of that version in a couple of decades not long ago, and it was legitimately difficult to get through just in a casual playthrough. So if you remember this game fondly, this version looks more like how you remember it and not as much how it actually was, which is good.
Yeah. So, why are you yelling, Blink? Why are you so angry?
No reason, it's just my temperament. No, so you're going to hear this poor boy shouting a lot over the course of the run. It's not as obvious here, but as you call for Yorda, which is what we're doing there, we're calling out to our companion, he gets a little bit of an extra speed boost and does kind of like a little foot shuffle. Essentially, the game is trying to get you to move a little bit quicker to reconnect with Yorda if you're apart from her. And so we are strategically timing, anytime we're not with Yorda, we're timing shouts so that we can get just a tiny bit extra speed going.
It adds up to about 10 seconds faster calling going up and calling going back down. So it makes a difference.
Yeah, and that's just in this little intro section, and when you extrapolate that over the course of the entire run, it's a pretty big time save.
I'm just laughing because chat is commenting that it's still labeled on Twitch as Sonic Adventure 2, and I'm just waiting for you to roll up into a ball and start spinning.
Everyone said that the modern Sonic games were different from the classic ones, right? And now I understand why.
Good times.
Yeah.
So more yelling as we head down, and now we'll finally meet our muse, our heroine. Yeah,
and I'll show everyone, if I hold call, the camera yanks down to show you where Yorda is. So every time we're shouting, we're trying to tap as quickly as possible, both to look where I'm going and also to not make everyone motion sick as I run around, because the camera wants to be very helpful.
Yep. So there's not too much to do here except just run and set her free, and then the fun parts of the run really come next. This first part, especially when you're trying to grind out a PB, this first part's kind of a drudge.
It is, but we get to beat up our first shadow here. These are the main enemies of the game. They will try to, basically anytime you're separated from Yorda and in certain other situations where they're scheduled to appear, try to take Yorda into one of those pools. You, as Eco, don't have any HP. You can get hit as much as you want to. Your only objective is to protect Yorda and keep her from going into one of those pools and staying in there for
Ooh, fast
too
Yorda.
long.
Nice.
Yeah.
You can get her to climb up quickly, or sometimes she just stares at you like, what? What am I supposed to do? And that time she went up quickly. Good job there. Now we have a classic Ueda moment. If you were into Ueda games, you know he loves crumbling bridges. So there you go. The very first crumbling bridge ever.
And
Historic
tragically cut short in the PS2 version. It's like a 2-frame cutscene if you're playing
It's
that
so
way.
funny. It's clearly unfinished. It's way less dramatic. It's like, oh, you slipped a little. Come on, my dear.
Love that.
Yeah, and he sounds like Goofy in that version too, apparently.
It's weird. He says "gorsh" a lot. I don't understand.
And
Oh,
when he like
goodness.
falls through a death plane, you hear him go, da hoo 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 hoo.
So this is kind of our first shadow fight skip. It's not quite as intense as some of the later ones, but we left her in that doorway, and now we're calling her as the shadow spawns there. And the goal is to have her run across the room and be standing next to us so that we can grab her hand quickly and escape out of the room before we have to actually fight her, before she might get grabbed. Kind of the running
doves.
theme of this is
Yeah.
any room where we
doves were-
can, we're trying to get rid of shadow fights.
Sorry, I should let you go before I say my lame joke.
Oh my gosh,
So that
no.
You finish your sentence.
Lame
I was
joke,
just going to say the
please.
doves were really active flying in front of the cameras that time. I think it was directed by John Woo.
You'll have plenty of other opportunities to make top shelf.
No, it's too late
John
now.
Woo
It's not
jokes.
funny anymore. The comedic timing is off.
So we're leaving her there, but don't worry, she's safe. This giant area that we're going to explore right now is all one big connected loading room. And Yorda, if it's not a scripted shadow fight, Yorda won't get taken by surprise shadows if you're in the same room as her. And so since all this outdoor area is technically connected and considered by the game as one huge room, she thinks we're safely near her and we can go explore and do a bunch of puzzling and generally make things much quicker.
Yep, she's actually almost right below you right there. So,
You hear her shouting to us, saying, "Where are you? Oh, I'm just up on the tracks, don't worry."
and now I call this segment the leaving on a midday train for Yorda. Leaving on a midnight train for Yorda.
Every time you sing that, it gets stuck in my head.
I know. My goal is to get as many songs stuck in your head during this speedrun as possible so that at the end it just explodes.
It's so easy to do. Any song that is sung in my vicinity is instantly in my head, and the melody comes out for the next hour or so. I apologize for all the midnight trains. Oh, Eco, no. He's kind of a sticky boy. If
Yes,
you get
yes.
close to an edge or a ledge, he really likes to hobble on the side of it. So that is not the last of those you're going to see over the course of this run.
Hey, we're now officially running Eco in the GDQ stream. Congratulations. The Sonic part of the run has ended.
Good job, everybody.
Yay, no gold rings. I was really disappointed.
I know. The master plan to trick Sonic fans into loving this incredible game is over. I hope it worked.
Yeah, we're saving like 4 minutes here by doing all of this without Yorda, instead of taking her with us through all these puzzles.
Yeah, it seems like we're just kind of playing the game without her, but we do need to bring her along. We're gonna, now that we got that, double back and go recover her. Again, this is all still considered one big room. Only now have we finally loaded a new room. You'll recognize this one as the one that we just went through.
And then the next load is actually the bridge that we came across earlier. It's down below us.
That's one
That
of
was
my
the
favorite
door we
parts
opened?
about this game is it's so like considered and so well planned out that basically from anywhere in the castle, if you take the time to look around, you'll see either areas that you've been to or areas that you're going to. It feels very connected. It's that Ueda charm.
Yeah, the castle really is its own character in this game, much like New York and Sex and the City.
Exactly right.
I never watched that, but I always hear people say that. So
It's good. I recommend it.
okay. All right, so now you're about to do a puzzle that my very first playthrough with a friend, it actually took us a full day to figure this out. Because there's this big room, and you can actually wander around quite a lot and think you're going somewhere, but you're not. And what we have to do is get a chandelier to fall by not just jumping on it, but hitting the chain. And then we'll use the flames down below to make a bridge for Yorda.
Oh, chain. Boom.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's how you have to do it. You can't get into your first swing. Also, get familiar with this room. I think that room sets the record for the room that we revisit the most times over the course of the run. Do a little.
Oh yeah, if you're talking
fall.
about every time in and out, it's like 6 or 7. It feels like.
Yep.
All right, now you're supposed to just leave this bomb by the pillar to explode the bridge to make it into a ramp, but we're going to try and, instead of lighting it with the stick, we're going to do a bomb toss. He's using my swaggy backup strat, and it worked.
Beautifully
Good job on the
consistent.
bomb toss. Woohoo!
Woo. Oh, our door's
Now
hiding
just
behind
find
the
the
smoke.
door through the smoke.
Orient by that little torch to try to get through, but yeah, the backup to that is to just hold the bomb, give it a big bear hug, and stand next to the pillar. And the poor kid, again, he can't take any damage, so it's knocked back, but he's okay.
All right, so now we're about to do what I call the Benny Hill segment. Because we basically just need to run from shadows for 2 rooms, and that's really all we're doing. So are you okay with me, Blink, providing the soundtrack for this?
Oh, please, please.
Please, yeah, I
All right.
agree.
Oh, let's pause here for the. That's such a cool door opening. Okay. I should have picked a lower key. I'm running out of breath.
I was going as fast as I could to meet your lung capacity.
I usually start it later, and now I know why.
Very good on keeping your composure through that.
Yes.
Well, I've got several quote-unquote woodwind instruments that we'll be enjoying tonight.
This is the reputation we develop. Everyone played this game and they're like, oh my gosh. I played Eco. That's when I knew that games were art. This game's beautiful. It's incredible. And I agree with that sentiment, but it's also appropriate to sing the Benny Hill theme when we play.
And we just skipped the cutscene where the queen shows up, you're running towards the gate closes, and then, as I always like to say, the queen says, I'm sorry, Eco, you're just a poor boy from a poor family. You can't date my daughter. And then she's like, I'll let you leave. But, of course, there's no actually way out for him to leave, so he and Yorda need to continue. It'd be interesting if there was, like, just this door that with, like, a blinking neon sign that said exit. You could just end the game right there. It'd be a separate category.
I know it's not even one of those like great clips that we need to find, because even if we got through, it wouldn't be the end. But maybe
No.
I'm giving away the story now.
Spoilers.
I know.
Sheesh.
I'm sorry. We'll skip most of the cutscenes, so it's still worth playing. I'd recommend anyone play this game.
Oh, really? Well, I'd recommend everyone play this game. Why are you being an elitist?
Fair. All right, so I'm going to do this little weird setup, but I promise there's a reason I'm doing it. I'm standing in the corner here and then doing this little half circle and trick shot off the wall. That's just the only way. That's not faster. That's just the only way I have found. That's my Rube Goldberg setup for making sure that the bomb always goes by this door. Otherwise, it's painfully easy to miss that throw. And now this is nothing scary. I'll let Sancho explain what I'm doing, and we'll be happy.
You
the
know,
whole
it's
time.
even scary explaining this because it goes so fast. So he's trying to leave Yorda so that she doesn't go to the bottom of those steps because that triggers a shadow fight. And what he's going to do is trigger that shadow fight while trying to get Yorda onto a pressure plate to open a door to avoid those shadows instead of fighting them. And it's like the puzzle is you have to have the cube at this pressure plate and then Yorda at the other one for the door to open. And the game wants you to fight the shadows first, but there ends up being 6 shadows to fight, and that takes quite a while. So what we're going to try and do is let go of her hand at just the right moment so she stops on the pressure plate and we can run in the door without having to fight these 3 shadows. That looked like a really good let go.
Wow, I got really close to the door. So
And we're in.
that's the first part, and that's the scary part. She might get grabbed now. The camera might do a hard cut, and you'll hear her gasp, but fear not. That part's accounted for. So nice. I'm glad we got that. Not that it isn't enjoyable watching a minute and a half of shadow fights, but I am glad to be able to show it off. Yeah.
All right, so now, as he pushes down this cube with the first shadow fight already in progress, he's triggering a second shadow fight on top of the first. So as she gets grabbed, he's just going to let her go up. He's going to push the cube over and then go and get her with 6 shadows. It's no big deal. Running around trying to get her. This is one of the easiest places for the run to end, because if one of those shadows knocks you over, you pretty much will no way have a chance of getting her out of this pool. There's definitely a timer. She was nearly gone already.
I know. I'm surprised. Oh, I thought I'd get away from
almost
him.
got out without them hitting you. Yorda's being nice, though. And we'll just meet him at the bottom?
No.
Nope, you want to fight
we'll
your way
grab
through.
her.
All right, that's probably faster. If they do pick her up there, they will take her down to this bottom pool we're about to run past, and so you can just get her there instead. That was a really good graveyard skip, and so we skipped fighting 9 total shadows by doing that.
Yeah, probably.
And then we wasted some time running into the chandelier.
No, that's all part of it's. I'm manipulating where Yorda's standing for an upcoming skip. This game is quite enjoyable to run because everything looks planned and calculated. You know, we're putting Yorda in specific spots, we're calling her at certain times, and then when you get into a shadow fight that you're used to skipping, it just turns into chaos and you get knocked over a bunch of times and it's a bunch of improv. So I almost hope that one of these doesn't go well so we can just enjoy a good shadow fight too.
I hope one of them doesn't go well, because you're doing pretty well right now. I don't want you to beat my world record. Okay, this skip is interesting. We're skipping what would be a nightmare of fighting 8 shadows in a very closed area by trying to get Yorda up on this ledge at the same time as 2 shadows are following down below. There's kind of been an evolution of how we do this, and the quickest way is kind of the fastest way. He just delays for a second and lets her run a bit to the right. This means she'll jump a little bit later, which causes those shadows to overextend.
And you can, if you do it right away, it's still possible. You're just gambling a little bit more because you'll pull them up with those 2 still up on the ledge. And then there's just a chance that they'll grab her, or they'll punch you off to the bottom, and just delaying your call by half a second or so saves you all that pain.
You're saving maybe 2 seconds, and you're risking the entire run for those 2 seconds. And of course, the guy who had the world record for over 5 years, Karakuza, he did that after having a perfect graveyard where he didn't even have to run up to the top of the steps to get Yorda. It was a ridiculous run. In many ways, it's still the best run, even though we've finally found a way to get the record from him. Finally.
Hey.
Okay, don't go too far here, Blink.
So I seem to be the only runner of this game capable of dying in this windmill section, but looks like we're good. So this is probably, if you are already a fan of Eco, this is probably the puzzle that you remember and love. And don't worry, it's scary to me even now, so your memories of it are warranted. All right, we took that a little wide on purpose just to be sure. And now we bring Yorda on over.
And she's waiting. Will she shake her head? Yep.
So anytime you're across from Yorda on a gap like this where she has to jump and grab your hand, she has a chance. I feel like it's a 99% chance, but I don't know the actual percentage. To shake her head, basically just her being like, "No, I'm too scared to jump," and that'll cost like 10 seconds. It's entirely out of your control, and she always will jump up. Or she'll jump to you immediately afterwards, so it's not like you can get them chained together and lose minutes or anything. But every time I'm across a gap holding R1 deep down, I'm hoping that she'll just leap right to me fearlessly.
So the difference would be like if she shook her head every time there was an opportunity for her to shake her head, that alone would probably cost you a world record. Because there's so many of them, but usually she only does it at like 1 or 2 unless she's feeling very ornery.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is our second scary shadow skip. We left her down in a very specific spot. This is another one that as I do it, I'll let Sancho explain.
All right, so there's 2 shadows that are going to be trying to grab her, but because of where we left her, they're not going to be able to make their way around that upper ledge. So we're going to try and pull her through the gate and then come back out of the gate, and hopefully they won't grab her, but they can. Let's see. Oh, wow, they're being very compliant right now. One of them just showed
Ooh.
up. Sometimes they'll squeeze in through that gate, but that was a really good first part.
Yeah.
And so good job. Normally you would fight those 2 shadows, and after triggering that cutscene by jumping back down, fight the shadows, and then do all of this stuff, but instead we're skipping that process. And we kind of shortcutted the puzzle too, because the way it's intended is Yorda actually goes down and stands on a different pressure plate, and you go out the back. We're skipping all of that.
He's down there still trying to get in, which is nice. Oh.
I think he's going to fly.
Oh.
Nice dodge.
Oof.
This is the scariest part right here. If they grab her on the stairs, it's really hard to know, like, depth perception wise, if you can get her back. So good job there, Blink.
Oof.
And of course her Emperor Palpatine Force Lightning does the rest. It will clear out all shadows in the shadow pools once she reaches the door.
Which was just so nice for them to build that in.
Yes, and I like that it gives her a little more agency. You know, there's some escort missions in other games, like some Resident Evils and stuff,
Yeah.
where they're kind of more of a ditz. And Yorda, you know, she's got a little more agency to her. You really both need each other, and she's not just, considering when this game came out, especially, she's not being objectified, and I just love that about the game.
Yeah, she's awesome. So I left her in that elevator because I want her to stay there, and then we're going to get into a shadow fight. Oh, hang on now. Into a shadow fight here in a sec. And I want these like spiders to basically scare her into staying in the elevator just so she stays out of the way. Could not have taken that any safer because my muscle memory was thrown off. This particular ledge that we're jumping up on, that bottom one there, for some reason the hit detection is customized, I'll say. So
there are places where it will ghost you.
Yeah, so easy to jump right through it, so I played it about as safe as a human can. Alright, this is one of the few fights we have to do, but there is hopefully a way for us to be maximally efficient.
Yeah, we're going to try and trap both of them in the corner at the same time. The top one flew out, but it looks like he's going to just land back where he was, so this should be fine. Good job, Link.
Nice.
And we didn't even lose any time because the next shadow comes after the smaller one is killed, and there we go. So now we'll just trap him in there as well. Yay!
Nice.
Great fight.
Yeah,
Great
really good.
fight. This is a really good run so far. We've had the 3 riskiest parts have gone really well.
I would say that this game front loads most of its scary parts, because East Arena coming up is maybe the last like scary part that is out of your hands entirely. Well, that's not true. West Arena, Skybridge too, but most of them
But
are
for
up
a
front.
while, yeah, when people are trying to PB and they're being reset heavy, most of the runs will die within this first section, maybe with another 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. It's nice because if you just have an incredible pace coming out of this early section, the game gives you a little bit of a relaxed section to catch your breath, calm down, be like, all right, I can crush the second half now.
So someone in chat, well, you set up the first of several death jumps, which we definitely stole from the Japanese runners, which kind of save us a few seconds. And we're using like the D-pad to do these jumps. They look scary, but they're 100% reliable. So as you're doing this first one and then dealing with the Squish Bros below, someone in chat said that this game was so hard for them as a child. And so just again reiterating, the original version of this game was way harder than the version we're playing now. The shadows had 14 hit points each, and these ones have only 7 or 11 hit points. And those little
I like knocked him away like a hockey
I do
puck.
not want you to get up.
I don't know
they?
what happened there.
Standing jump swing.
Oh, I tried to hit them both with my curved shot, my uppercut. Whoa, sir? No. Okay.
Ooh.
So we dropped
yeah,
out of
go
the
ahead.
window. We kind of I charged at them. You sort of beat your chest and run towards them and hope that they squish into the ground and get intimidated. They can leave you alone, so you can just jump right up in there, but sometimes they chase after you and you just have to scare them off.
But going back to just the shadows, those little shadows, they just kind of saunter around benevolently in this version of the game. And if there's enough of them and they gather to Yorda, they can spawn another shadow. And that's about all the damage they can do. But in the PS2 US version of the game that came out first in 2001, the shadows can hit you and they can hit you on the ground. They can literally ping pong you back and forth while Yorda's in a pool, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you just get turned to stone.
Yeah, and there are some fights where there's 5, 6 of them crawling around on the ground, so it's brutal.
I'm like, why am I even talking about this now?
Yeah, that's why the PS2 leaderboard is a little more sparse than the PS3 leaderboard.
Yeah, we've got 2 runs so far. And only 3 runs attempted, but the third one unfortunately was done really early and it didn't do the beach run at the end, so it doesn't qualify according to our current standards. All right, now we'll see how good a job Yorda does getting onto this platform.
Wasn't on it yet. So she needs
Nope,
to stand on this wooden platform.
Taking her time. We got sauntering Yorda this time. Oh, there she goes. Little burst, little sprint at the end.
Yeah. So she's going to get grabbed as we run down to her. Hopefully, the shadow will miss her once, which lets us just kind of grab her hand and run off. But if not, we'll just pull her out of the pool and we're off.
Yeah, this is RNG. It kind of depends on if she stays still or where she runs to. I think you'll be able to get her.
Oh,
Ha! Oh. You still got it. Nice.
Yorda?
And come on, Yorda.
Yorda?
The corners in this game are deceptively bulky.
That's why I need to look at where you're running. She was looking back at the shadow in fear.
Now we do get a little bit of a breather here as we're just going to be running to the next main puzzle area. And so as we are serenaded by the melodious sounds of the forest, smooth operative, if you have anything you want to share with us right now,
Sure,
you're
yeah.
welcome to do that.
I did have a quick question. So the characters in this game, are they always holding hands when they're moving together, or is there any instance where they might be moving separately?
So whenever we're running like this, I'm holding R1 the whole time.
Okay.
And R1 holds onto Yorda's hand. That's actually another difference in the PS2 version, and you can toggle this setting in the PS3 version if you want to. Where in PS2 you just tap it and you hold it, but yeah, we're always holding R1 this whole time. And if we're not holding hands when we tap R1, that's when he does the call.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, if we still have time for a few announcements, then I can rattle off a few for everyone.
Yeah, go ahead. We're just going to kill a shadow before going into the next room. There's not...
Sure,
we don't
yeah.
have to say anything here.
Okay, cool. Well, I want to mention that alongside our recurring shows, such as Time Capsule here, GDQ Hotfix also has multiple week-long events, including Frost and Flame Fatales. These women-led events happen twice a year, supporting other great charities. And if you're interested in tuning in, Frost Fatales will be taking place February 27th to March 5th. You can use the chat to type in !FF to find out more about it, or you can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more information. And also, if you have any ideas for your own speedrun show or one-off events, feel free to go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix and submit us your idea. We would love to take a look at it with you.
Awesome.
I love all the stuff you do. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Sancho, please feel free to explain why I'm nervous right now.
Oh no.
All right, here we are at another RNG thing where we're just praying that Yorda will find her way up this ladder before the shadow grabs her. She has to go quickly, and the shadow has
Oh.
to fly to her instead of run to her. You have to have two RNG things work at the same time. This time the shadow ran to her instead of flying to her, so he was able to grab her. And now we have to fight 4 shadows that we were trying to skip. This is like that last place we were talking about in the early RNG of the run that can kill a run if you're going for a PB. And yep. So you could still try and do a half skip here maybe, but the shadows are coming out pretty quickly, so we'll just have to fight them. But fortunately, you can save a little bit of time on the back end because now we don't have to take Yorda back into the other room, which was the way we would get the shadows to despawn.
All right, so that was a pretty good backup fight. For some
So
reason,
you can just do the torches now. You can leave her there, right? Right?
I'll bring her up here, right?
Okay.
I told you he was my mentor. He lives
I'm
up to it.
sorry. It's really hard for me to turn coach mode off. I apologize, viewers.
Never turn coach mode off.
All right, well, you should have swung at the end of that jump.
There, I did one for you. Technically, shouldn't I be
it's
jumping up those? It's
It
faster.
makes like a quarter of a second difference. Anytime you do a jump, if you swing this at the end of it, you stumble forward instead of landing flat foot, and it helps you keep your momentum. So
this window, this giant like satellite dish, this is one of our 2 reflectors. Kind of the main point of the entire middle section of the game is for us to light these 2 reflectors to open that main gate that we saw way back when. So normally we would have taken Yorda, we would have thrown her in the other room and then done all this speedy, but now she's going to be down here and ready to hang out with us.
hopefully she'll still be up there since you made the effort to
I
bring
know.
her up there.
I
And she
know.
won't have climbed back down.
I would prefer
following
that she
after
prove
you.
me right. Oh no, Yorda. Prove me right. All right, I yield.
All right, might as well just light them on this side while she climbs up. As I said, one of the things you could have done was just left her down there. You just never know where Yorda's going to be, though. It's like there's this calculation that's going on, and when you enter the
Yeah.
room, it decides where to put her. And it might be exactly where you want her. It might be all the way on the other side of the room.
So we're going to grab this sword, and this is going to spawn a little cage that we're not that concerned about because Yorda's inside with us, and now we need to cut our
Yeah.
way free.
This is a great time to point out that there's no HUD in this game, and that you basically learn the buttons by just trying them out as the game goes along, and it just like that's a beautiful, simple, elegant little puzzle that teaches you that new mechanic of hey, now you have a sword, and maybe rope cutting will be helpful, and just the way that it does it, it's just unique. It's so unique.
Now we hop down to right where we set her, and now we're almost done with East Reflector. We just have a lot of scooching to do.
Yeah.
Very King Zora of us. Oink, oink, oink.
So this is gonna take a while. So I've got a fan fiction I made. I'm gonna read to you guys. Right? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that sounds lovely.
But I do actually have, right behind me, there was somebody who loved this game in Japan when it came out, and she is a Japanese young adult novelist, Miyuki Miyabi, and she wrote a book called Eco Castle in the Mist, which is her interpretation of the events of this, and it also tells Eco's backstory, and it tells Yorda's backstory. It's a fascinating and amazing book, and it has its own special twist ending at the end, on top of the twist ending that Ueda likes to put into all of his games.
A nice companion piece for sure. And this is not a game you'd think would have like external media to support it, but I'm happy that it does.
Oh yeah, yeah. And there are so many people who speedrun games or who are just gamers in general, you and myself included, who would say that Eco is their favorite game of all time, if not in the top, in like their
Yeah.
top 5.
So I'm trying to jump in a specific height and at a specific time to cut both these ropes at once. Oh,
Nicely, the double.
look at that. I'm sorry, it's not a perfect record yet. We have to do it once more. And now Yorda's down at the bottom of this water. This was all to turn that water off. And now we just leap down again. Our lovely sack of potatoes boy he has no bones. He can jump from any height essentially, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, unless there's a death plane there. So really, Yorda is his health bar, which is kind of cool. If she's okay, he'll be okay. If she gets captured and you don't pull her out of a shadow pool soon enough, she'll get turned to stone. On very rare occasions, she can fall to her death, and that ends the run as well. Or you have to restart at a save or a idle door, a bench save or an idle door. And now this is just cool. It's like it has to be both Eco and Yorda to activate this trust bridge. It's like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. There's a holy grail at the end of this. You must choose wisely.
And you have to enjoy it the first time, because we're going to get to a very similar one of these in a second. And well, not in a second, in minutes. But I'm going to be much more nervous the second time. So, all right, now the hardest thing in the game, which is convincing Yorda that we should stand on the elevator together.
Oh, that was she barely clipped in.
That was close, yeah.
You'll lose 25 seconds if you can't get her onto the elevator with you, and it's actually really not easy to do.
And we're not doing any sort of like fancy speedrun tech there. It's just hard all the time.
Yeah, you're just trying to keep her arm extended at the right moment so that she'll follow you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes she just stops abruptly and is like, I don't know. All right, so now we have activated the left side of the main bridge by activating the east reflector. And the game just explains stuff to you so well. It's like you just know, oh, well, we just did half, so clearly we have to make our way to the other side so we could do the other half.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, the fact that this castle is just one big puzzle, like, I've just been chasing that feeling with every other game I play. And anytime like Zelda, Twilight Princess, or another game has like a big area with elaborate puzzles that link together, I'm like, I'm back in my happy place.
You know, you should play Dark Souls. I don't know if you know, but the director of Dark Souls said that he was very heavily influenced by Eco in the design of his world. So we're abandoning Yorda because we want the shadows to deliver her to the other side of this bridge for us. You actually run a little faster when you're not with Yorda. So if we can find a way to get Yorda to come with us or to meet us at the end, all the better.
Yeah. And this is because we're not going to take her with us up this big ladder. And so even though running with her is only like 4 seconds slower, what's really saving time is we're not running Yorda through that door and then coming back out the door to go up the ladder and despawning the shadows by her not being there anymore. Instead, we're letting them bring her along while we do all this ladder stuff ourselves. Because Yorda is slow at ladders, and it would be ridiculous to take her with us up it.
And so now we activate this, which is just linking the 2 bridges for the next area we're going to visit. And we have to be kind of speedy in getting out of that room because Yorda can get dropped into a pool, and it's
it will just show you a game over screen and her in a pool. Now we'll see how fast the shadows come this time. Are they right there? Nope, they're giving us the... Oh, that's kind of fast. They can be a little faster. So we'll fight...
Oh, I hit the wrong one. Yorda.
That's okay. The hardest part about this is just that they can obstruct you. Hey, good job.
Yeah, he was playing like center lineman there.
Yay. Okay, now one other thing to mention, and I'm so excited about this. Smooth operative. I'm so excited about this because the other 2 times Eco was featured at GDQ, it was Bucci doing the 50 hertz version of the run. And when she did that, she would jump from that lever to the lever on the other side and skip about 30% of the game, which is what you're going to see us do if Blink can ever cut that rope.
You have to intimidate it the first time, and then you cut it the second time.
Well, you get like 2 threads on the first swing, and then the other 2 threads on the other.
Everyone who played this casually remembers that it's a 2-swing.
So we are now seeing, for the first time at GDQ speedrun, the water, the puzzle to get to the waterfall, the water mill, the gondola section, which is a fancy word for elevator, the water tower section, which I like to call Ewok Village. All of that to get to West Arena when Bucci just super jumps literally to West Arena.
We only have regular jumps, so we could.
Yeah.
This is the scenic version of the run, which is nice. If you love the game like we do, then you get to see more of it, which I actually really enjoy.
So these shadows that just spawned here, we'll see them again, and it took them a while to spawn, but next time they'll be a nightmare because they could be anywhere when you enter that room, and they can again ruin a run just by being like, "Surprise, sucker!"
Another instance where we're telling Yorda to meet us somewhere while we are off doing something. So we'll follow
Watch
her on
her.
her journey. Hopefully she makes it around the corner all right.
Hey, good job, Yorda.
Yeah.
She's going pretty fast. Look at that. You got a fast Yorda. We actually see her at the steps before. That's pretty good.
I talked to her before we went live, and I said, you got to work with me.
This is a strat I'm not aware of.
I was like, I won't submit any. Oh!
No!
Okay, so I got caught on one of the bulky corners in this game, so we're going to just climb back up.
Yep. No problem.
Yeah,
No problem.
just
This
cost
was a
us like
good
10
puzzle
seconds.
too, because you notice you could. It seems like you're supposed to go in that first window, and at first you don't even realize there's a second window. So there's these puzzles like this that it's so obvious, but it could literally take you hours of just running around the castle aimlessly because it's not linear, and then you come to this and you're like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Also, when I went through that window, you saw me like walk very slowly. It's because for some reason, every now and again, the direction that Eco's moving can kind of get locked in place, even if you change the direction on the stick. And so I've had multiple times where you jump through that window and he just like stubbornly bull charges forward despite turning that corner. But if you go a little bit slower and walk, you can just make sure that he'll actually round to the corner appropriately.
Yeah, the corners, you just have to learn them by doing it. And I mean, I think the best example was when we just couldn't get Yorda to that idle door because she was stuck in the corner of it.
So true.
All right, so that was one puzzle, and this door is now a new save for us, and we're going to be going through. People have complained about how far it is from this moment to the next save. I've seen it in like early reviews for the game.
So we're once again proving Eco has no bones. Poor kid.
Yeah, and we're skipping going out the top and then jumping on a chain and then going down a ladder to get to here. And also, we're going to skip pushing a cube. Overall, it's going to save us about 40 to 50 seconds by not doing those things.
Yeah. And so hopefully now Yorda's standing at the door waiting for us. Yay.
Hello there, Yorda. Fancy meeting you here.
I had no idea you'd be here. Ah, she's a little back, so I get the camera change, but that's all good. You make extra sure that
hopefully-
she's standing on that elevator. 'Cause
If she's turned around the other way, she'll climb back up while you're going down. It's hilarious, but it's frustrating. Yep, and so just by standing on that tiny little ledge right there, we were able to avoid needing a cube to get up to this region.
she'll walk slow and then pew! Every time when she hits the ground there, she takes off running. I don't know why. Something that we've done a couple times and haven't explained yet is when I jumped up to that little corner, I specifically had to do like a standing D-pad jump, not while running. And that's because for some reason when you're standing still and you jump with the D-pad, he seems to get a little extra height. And so you can use that to jump over certain like railings or certain walls that you're not supposed to be able to, or in that case to get just a tiny bit of extra height, which lets them grab that ledge.
And now we get to watch Yorda in really her moment to shine, going up 2 ladders for over 50 seconds.
Yeah, this is where you take a beat. Now she'll maybe run into the pillar. Oh, not too
she
bad.
did it. Yay! Sometimes she pauses there for 3 seconds, and sometimes she doesn't. And there's literally nothing you can do about it. Oh, and there's that cube down in the bottom left. That cube that we were supposed to need, but we didn't use because Blink made that jump earlier.
Beautiful water.
Oh, look at that.
I know.
So atmospheric.
I feel like I'd let go of her hand right there. Oh, no, we're good.
Okay, now, as we enter into this section, I just have to relay something fun which happened to me when I first played this game on PS3. So this game is literally just a reskin of the Japanese release which came out in December, when it was finally finished. So those of you who, like me, the first time you played Eco, it was on the PS2 US version that came out in August or September of 2001. Blink is about to do something that wasn't even there in the original, in that first version. In that first version, you keep following these pipes all the way around to the other side to a window. But here we have something lovely. I see Ruby Heart is in chat. This is her most favorite part of this run, and it's the pump jump, where you have about a tenth of a second window to push jump to be able to jump up to the top of the window. So we're gonna see Blink do it the right way. And of course, the first time I did the PS3 version, I just hopped over to this other pipe right here on the left after this lever. And I was like, hey, wait, this doesn't go to the window. What's happening? It was kind of a surreal moment because I had no idea there was a difference between versions at that point. I was just playing the PS3 version casually, thinking it was exact same.
And you're not kidding. It is a tenth of a second. So you'll see me lean in because I'm looking for one very specific pixel on this texture.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good job. So he was looking for a very specific little notch in the in that thing, and as soon as it drops down, either like slightly before or slightly after, depending on how fast you push your button, really, it's kind of a feel thing. You've got to push at that right moment. We call that little notch Kyle, and I believe that they actually put Kyle into the PS3 version of the game just so you could have a visual cue.
It is very, very convenient that's there. And
shout out to Blue Point for Kyle.
That pump jump keeps in the grand tradition of most of the hardest things being just things that aren't speedrun strategies, just things you were always expected to do.
And at least half of my PB submissions on speedrun.com have at least one failed pump jump. At least half.
In fact, I didn't even think of this, but we're about to do yet another difficult thing that is intended.
Yeah, the two timing jumps in this game are back to back, and so this one is jumping onto this wheel at the right time, and if you're pushing in a direction as you climb up, you'll just slip off, so you actually have to like have zero input for a split second before you jump, or you keep slipping off. And people who play this game casually get so frustrated with that, and I understand, because it feels impossible. And I know some people have even stopped playing the game because they didn't realize, oh, I should do no inputs for a split second before I make my jump or I'll slip off. How are you supposed to know that?
Oh, she's off looking at birds. She's bird watching.
Oh, look at that. You're to chasing birds.
If you leave her alone for a while in a non-threatening area with birds, she'll just chase after pigeons, and there's some way over there. Oh, there's one. And so
I still can't decide if they're like pigeons or seagulls or doves or just a bird unique to their universe.
They're probably seagulls, right? We're right by the ocean.
You'd think, but they don't look like seagulls.
Well, they look like 4 polygons taped together, but I take your meaning. Yeah.
You know how all of us used to draw birds in kindergarten? You just do that like W, that little two arcs. That would be really funny if like someone did, instead of a higher res version of this game, a lower res version. And you just have those
the Eco
birds.
D make?
Oh, good feathers. Oh, nice Animaniacs reference. I dig it.
All right, this is another shadow skip, not too scary of one. We leave her up there, and hopefully she doesn't get scared or see shadows on her way over. She did not. Sometimes she'll see those shadows climbing out of the pool and get nervous.
Ooh, he got out quick, though, and then hopefully they won't grab her right away as you run to the door. Yay, another zappity zap. This one, for some reason, really trolls me, and that fails for me a lot. And there's not much I could do about it, but...
Yeah, that's definitely, you just hold R1 and hope that things work out. Thankfully, at that part, you're holding a sword, which you're usually not during a shadow skip, and so if you do have to fight, it's a pretty quick fight.
Yeah, the sword swings are like 3 stick swings, so instead of having to do 7 or 11 swings to kill a shadow, you only have to do 3 or 4. Because math. Yes! I love this! Just look at it. Eco's floating feet. Blink promised he would do that for me. I do it in all of my runs. That's just his Messiah moment where he could just show you that he can just walk on air. All right, shake head or no head shake? I think she's close enough. Yeah, she's not going to do it.
No head shake. I have a completely unfounded theory that if you're standing closer to a wall, she's less likely to do it, but that's just the superstition that you build up as a runner of this game. You start to convince yourself that certain things matter.
And yeah, we really don't know
Yeah, not at all.
sometimes.
All right. So was this the? Oh, this isn't the gun. We're coming up on the gondola, but we're gonna bring her down here, and then we're gonna leave her in a very particular spot and go do some jumps and things up top in hopes that when we jump back down, she'll just run right to us and grab our hand and take off with us again.
In here, we're going to be doing the puzzles and trying to avoid the shadows. We may end up fighting 1 or 2 of them, but normally we would have to fight 8 shadows in this area. So this is a very, very good skip to do. Also, you'll see all those, it's just all ledges, so you could really easily get knocked to your death. And so it's not a very fun fight by any stretch of the imagination.
Oops. Alrighty.
So this connects a bridge, which helps us get to the gondola. Kind of. We've got to do a little bit of doubling back.
Ah, look at that.
Perfect Yorda. She was
Love
feeling
to
bad
see
about
it.
that head shake from earlier.
I don't hold it against her. She's allowed a couple of head shakes each run. It's all good.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Very minor thing that just happened there that probably wasn't really noticeable, but has either been happening or not all throughout the run. Whenever a cutscene that you can skip starts playing, if you time your start press to skip the cutscene perfectly, you avoid like the first few frames of the cutscene and the transition to them. And if you don't, then you have to watch a little bit and then the cutscene plays and then it skips it after that. But depending on whether or not you get that cutscene skip in that tight window, can and almost always does affect what direction the camera is facing. And so you have to, hopefully you get it just because it's faster, but you have to just kind of be ready for whichever of the 2 camera angles you'll get coming out of almost any cutscene.
Now there's 4 shadows here, and thankfully most of them will get obstructed by the architecture, but sometimes 1, 2, or even 3 will make it onto this elevator. There's one.
Yeah, he's
And we're just
coming.
going to try and close the door and start making our way up before he shows up. Nope, we're just going to kill him first. Okay. 3 swings.
Power of the sword. And for some reason, if you grab this pole on the farthest out that you can grab it as you spin, he spins much, much faster.
It just amazes me that, and again, this isn't part of like a remaster. This was in the 2001 version. They factored torque into the game. They factored a torque. If you're really close, you pull so slowly. And if you're all the way on the edge, you are just flying. Can you show them just a little bit?
Sure,
Since we've
yeah,
got so
we'll
much
pull it
time
right
here,
on the
yeah.
inside to see. It's a tough life. It's tough out in the castle.
The struggle.
Yeah, it's real.
If
He's like,
you
"Oh."
if you miss world record by 2 seconds, you can blame me.
If I get a world record with East Arena skip,
With the East Arena fail,
Missing,
yeah, you're
yeah.
right. You're right. We've kind of already lost our chance at that. But this is still a really good run going. Now, we don't normally save at this bench, but in the off chance that we would die here at Ewok Village, aka Water Tower section, in the off chance that we would die here, we would go all the way back down to that other idle door we did at where the waterfall and the block were.
Yep.
Oh, there she goes.
Yep. She says no. And this part is just in general scary because if you look around, it's basically like a giant jungle gym suspended in midair. So anywhere that you mistime a jump, you can fall to your death.
And
Another
yet
one of these
this
scary
really,
jumps.
This really is like my favorite area of the game. I just enjoy it so much.
We have to stand kind of at the edge behind that pole up there and do a jump off in a way where he kind of nudges his shoulder on the post as he jumps by, which slows him down just enough to land on this, so we don't need to climb down and jump all the way around on it. now we just call to Yorda. Another thing that I never mentioned is that this shout that he's doing now, the further away you are from Yorda, there's 2 different versions of the call that he does. There's like this longer one and this shorter one. I think it's only the longer one that actually gives you a burst of speed. If the shorter one does, it's a much, much smaller burst of speed. So you usually can kind of wait till you're a little bit outside of Yorda's, I guess, detection radius before you start calling.
Yeah, the shorter one is when he goes like, uh-huh, or bonsoir, or whatever he's saying. And he's like just this little like hand wave thing, like, come on. But if he reaches his hand all the way up to his mouth and goes, ah! then you know, what is he good for? Absolutely nothing. Wah! Then you know he's doing his real run because he's got his, he's got his groove going.
Very intellectual solution to this puzzle, which is just lob our entire body at it to knock the bridge over.
Yeah, you could also like turn around the other way and swing and then jump after a couple swings, but thankfully you can just jump backwards over at it.
Here's another one of those standing jumps with a little extra height that I mentioned. Just enough to get us over that railing.
Oh, you got the high jump to the chain too, which means one less pull with the arms here. Can we just marvel at Eco's like arm strength while holding a sword? I just don't understand how he hasn't cut off all his fingers yet.
I mean, have you ever tried to do monkey bars after the age of like 12? It does not go well.
I don't know how. I mean, I know part of it is just weight, but like you do like 2 bars and you have blisters and you're just like, ah. Oh, if I could only be 20 pounds again. Man.
So the camera swings all wildly during this jump, and so I always stop and readjust with the D-pad because it's very easy to accidentally be at a slight angle and then just casually leap to your fate.
Yeah, this was a definite calculated like skill cap part of the run where they want to make sure you know you have your platforming down so that you'll be ready for stuff that comes later.
Yep.
Alright, so as the camera was swinging, he made his jump. That's a super baller move on your part. Good job.
You always want to do things that are high risk and people don't even realize they're high risk. It's
Yes.
all risk, no reward. So this is another shadow skip. We're convincing her to leap over onto this box and over here before our friend right there can come.
And this like tummy oof she does, where she climbs up by herself, this wasn't in the PS2 US version. You'd have to grab her hand both of those times, and it would give the shadows, which again are more aggressive and have more hit points, more time to get to her. It is a almost impossible skip in the PS2 US version. It's definitely not worth risking it if you're like on a PB pace already.
So we have just now, after all this time, linked back up with the part of the game that you would jump right to if you were doing the 50 hertz one, the one that Bucci showed off.
Yep. Hey, now where Bucci would have been.
Remember when we were over
20
there?
20 minutes ago. But again, we get a nice breather, and the camera's reminding us of where we are and what it is we're trying to do, and it even shows you, the bridge on the other side. The
Beautiful
bridge
landscape.
over troubled waters, if you will. Like a bridge over troubled waters.
I tried to time it with your lyrics.
I was doing too. I wasn't honoring the scansion of the song. I apologize. I was going for too much legato.
So thankfully, even though we're going to a mirror of the reflector that we did earlier in the game, it's the same layout, the same architecture, but the order you do things is entirely different. The puzzles are entirely different. They did a good job, kind of just like remixing the same room layout.
And it's even a fun little fake out because you're like, wait, this looks exactly the same, and what you have to do in some ways is the same, but the order you do it has to be different, and that's just kind of fun. So we're opening this door now, even though we won't be going into it yet, simply because it's going to allow us to skip fighting the 8 shadows that show up here this first time. There's 16 shadows in West Arena, and we're going to be skipping one group of 8 a total of like 5 times. So this is the first one. We're going to try and get out of this room as quickly as possible so that hopefully the shadows won't even start to spawn. Good job, Blink.
Nice.
And we will see that room again.
Yeah, it comes back with a vengeance, that's for sure. So now we're just doing the same thing we did in East Reflector, where our goal initially is to light all these torches to open up the path that the light from the reflector to the main gate will travel. And so that's kind of the overarching goal of each of these areas.
Mm-hmm. And again, we have to get her on this little cylinder thing to activate the steps. If Eco can find a ledge, sometimes he has... Sometimes
Whoa.
both of them have trouble finding a ledge.
Yeah, let's see if she gets up right away. Oh, no shuffle.
Sometimes she'll like shuffle her feet and never find your hand, and sometimes she'll do what you call the washing machine, which is just spin around in circles and never find your hand. And it's so annoying because it loses time, and there's like you just have to reset and hope that she can find it. Then it's like right at the corner of the polygons that you can't actually see. She just has a lot of trouble detecting his hand. That's what we think it is, anyways.
Yep.
All right, so here spawns that lighting those 2 torches spawns 8 more shadows, and we're going to try and skip them. Hopefully Yorda will get on this ladder faster. This skip usually goes better than the other one. This is a 95% or higher chance of success compared to the other one, especially.
He's only saying 95 because I told him that in one of my practice runs before this, that for the first time ever, she just got caught down there. So
Or she'll just start chasing after you up the ramp for no reason. Okay, so now we're in here too long, so it is going to cause the shadows to spawn right as we go into that door. You'll hear this like, whoom. And this is a humbling moment because the camera switches so much, it's so easy to slide or run into the door.
Honestly, pretty graceful, all things considered.
Yeah, I think so. It's better than doing a slip and slide down the little slide.
Yeah.
All right. So, again, since Yorda's not with us, the shadows there despawned. The shadows here despawned. And we're going to leave Yorda alone for what looks like a long time. Nice jumps, Blink. Who taught you to that strat?
It's my mentor. It looks so good. I was sad you don't get to do that really with the Easter egg skip. Also, anytime you see me pause like that, it's because I preempted a cutscene skip by mashing the start button.
So it feels like we're leaving Yorda alone for a long time. Anytime she's in a different load from you, there's a timer, and eventually she'll get grabbed by shadows. But out here, we're actually in the same load as the room we left her in, so it reset the timer. And that's what's allowing us to leave her. Really, this is the longest amount of time we ever leave her alone.
Yep.
Because technically, we called her there, and if you're listening really carefully, a lot of times you'll hear her go, Yane, which means she's shaking her head no at you.
She hears us shouting from all the way out here.
Over the water, which is really impressive. She has great hearing.
All right, now this is the second time where we want to try to get those very specific jumps where we can cut 2 ropes at once.
He's 2 for 2 so far.
Ooh.
3 for 3.
Pressure's on. Here we go. Eco. Oh, beautiful.
4 for 4. Where's my air horn? Wah, wah. The quadruple double. Can't even get that in basketball. No, there's probably a way. Would it be like double points, steals, assists, and I don't know. I should not have gone down that road.
I was just gonna let you go with it.
And something else that you can get double in stats. All right. Now, we jumped down to this bridge below. It's faster than running all the way back down the stairs. And now we're going to do another... we're going to try to do our final bomb toss of this game. And hopefully the bomb toss will go well and we'll be able to get to Yorda. If we miss this bomb toss, we'll have to do a little backup strat where we, again, reload that other room where she was. Just because we can't have the shadows grabbing her. Well done. Bounce it off the wall. Thank you, JK, for teaching us that strat.
Yeah.
It's close enough. Boom. We made it. Great job.
Wonderful. And so now she'll be standing at the bottom of this water. The dream is that she'll be standing at the very top of this waterfall. Oh my.
Ooh, that's...
What?
Wow.
What the...
You got a fast Yorda.
It's like, okay, what else did I do slow to get a fast Yorda?
I mean, you did all of that really well, which just goes to show, like, it's totally just RNG. All right, and now we're skipping the 8 shadows here again. You can see that pool below. And now
All right.
comes the pure RNG moment. We're going to try and go across the sky bridge like we did in East Arena, but those 4 shadows are respawning, and they are going to try and stop you. And sometimes one of them will clip through the floor. We call him Mr. Clippy. Shoutouts to Mr. Clippy. It doesn't look like Mr. Clippy showed up. Oh, there he was.
Too slow, buddy.
I think we got him.
Yeah. That one's always nerve-wracking. There's really not much you can do.
Yes.
You just run straight and hope that things work out. So.
Yeah. And you know, if you miss that, you're all the way back at the entrance to this. I mean, it's formidable enough that we actually made a cheat save to start at the bench, having already done all the puzzles, just because of how bad, just because of how much time you lose from dying there. I mean, it's a run ender, and you know, sometimes I've even been like just 10 seconds behind a PB, and the shadows are like, nope, we want to end this run right now, and they mug you and take your wallet and knock you off the thing.
All right, so after these cutscenes, this is the second opportunity to do one of these little like fancy Yorda ladder drops where we do time it just right so that she falls down rather than climbing down. Beautiful.
Yay! Blink, I'll let you take it from here, but this is chef's kiss.
And now, since we were fast enough and we got the ladder drop, we can appreciate the light on the stick going out.
Beautiful.
It was a little early, but we almost
But
got
you
it.
notice, like, it was its own independent light lighting up Eco's body, and that's in the original PS2 version of the game. It's just bananas that a game was this good in 2001, and that it had factored in things like that, like different lighting from different places.
Yep.
So good. Oh, I think I actually even made a GIF for that. I already forgot it. Let's see where to go.
Oh, you shouldn't have said GIF live on air.
GIF. There we go. Happy torch burning. This torch is fine, or stick is fine. Was how someone.
So just like when we were on the other side there, we're just connecting this bridge so we can get back. And now our goal is to get back to the main gate, and I'm sure just escape the castle with no issues.
This is a great time for more announcements, though, because we're literally just double backing through a large portion of the castle.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think maybe this would be a great time to tell everyone about a new marathon that is coming up. Unapologetically Black and Fast coming up soon. It is a new recurring hotfix marathon where Black runners are the front and center in celebration of Black joy, and the first iteration will be taking place February 12th and the 13th for 12 hours a day, so be on the lookout for that coming up very soon.
That sounds
I'm excited for
wonderful.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we were having a little bit of trouble with the schedule itself, but it should be up hopefully soon, and you'll be able to check out all of the games that will be featured.
We had a pretty good final run through this room. This is the last time you
Yeah,
get to
yeah.
appreciate Chandelier Room.
As long as she keeps holding your hand there, which she did, and they don't. Sometimes they can grab her on the steps if they're fast enough. Woohoo! This, except for East Arena, every skip has gone really well.
Yeah, it's gone quite nice. Sometimes you'll come in the top of that room and there'll be a shadow standing at like each of the 3 exit points just posted up ready to block you from getting through. So they were distracted. They were off flying in the ceiling for some reason, so it worked out well. All right, and now things are about to get a little dicey. So if, as you've been watching, you've mostly been appreciating the color of Yorda's hair, soak it in now. This
As I have.
This is the last chestnut you're going to get.
I'm a sucker for a gray pixie haircut.
And it's gone. So
Oh,
we're
yes.
nice platinum blonde now, and We're doing this kind of like stuttering step here. She's in kind of a weakened state, and if you run too far with her, she'll collapse onto her knees for a second. But if you go like 8 or 9 paces and then stop, and then go 8 or 9 paces, she'll collapse.
But this is the saddest part of the game, not because Eco and Yorda are separated. Great fake out, by the way, the first time you're playing this game. You think you've won.
Yeah.
But we are about to lose a companion who we've had pretty much from the very beginning. Shoutouts to Stick.
Aww.
I know.
Too young.
Gone but not forgotten.
Forget that this actually isn't the original Stick you had. It's still Stick. It'll always be Stick to me.
But does it stick the
all
landing?
It may do is give splinters to you. But it's always a Stick to me. Can you guys tell I'm a dad? I don't know if you can tell or not. The PS2 version of the game, the shadow here is pitch black, and it's so creepy, and I wish they'd kept that, but they didn't. Instead, we get translucent shadow. All right, and I've prepared a musical number for this.
Oh no, I only heard the very beginning. All right, so in a fit of good luck, or at least good luck by eco standards, because again, he's a sack of potatoes, we landed on these bird cages instead of in the water, which you think would be worse, but in this case, it's good for us. And so now we have to run off, and we're separated from Yorda. No Yorda for the rest of the game, sadly, but we will slowly fight our way back to her.
Yeah. And since I was doing the slide whistle, we didn't get to do our great hieroglyph joke.
Oh.
So make sure to watch to go to YouTube and look up our history of eco speedrunning world record.
Yeah, if you
because
go
we
to
have
YouTube.
a killer joke at that moment for how we translate what Yorda says to eco there. And yeah.
Yeah,
It's
look
my
up
favorite part of the whole
Eco any percent world record progression. Big community effort from a bunch of people to show the
we got
full
the
history.
best
of this
voice to narrate it. Blink.
You
himself?
You. Come on now.
I may have written the script and done most of the editing.
You mentored the video.
I mentored it. I conceived it, birthed it, and nurtured it to maturation.
All right, I'm bringing that cube to a specific spot just where I know I can reliably jump on this ladder, which is actually kind of dicey to get up onto.
That lever is the hardest lever to pull in the game.
It's so hard. For some reason, it does not want to be grabbed. But now we got to bring our good friend the cube over because he's going to help us get up onto a chain.
Yes. A fun little puzzle on its own. It takes a while because you can wander around here for a while before realizing this is what you have to do. And there's actually a trick pipe that you can climb up and think you're getting somewhere, and then it caves on you and you fall back down into the water. It's a cool hidden cutscene that not everybody finds.
I wonder if it'll let me point the camera there. Yeah, this pipe right here. If you try to climb up that, you think you're just going to escape. You kind of get back to the halfway point of the castle, but it breaks and you knock into the water. Very fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
So we call this... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to push this a couple of times and try to time it where I'm in air during the cutscene. Nice.
Nicely done. Always bad when you don't push it enough and you just jump down and the cutscene doesn't trigger and you have to climb all the way back up the chain again. But that pushing that thing activated these gears, which now allows us to get to the next section.
And I really like... I'm always nerve-wracked at this section if I'm on a good run, but I actually like this section because it's sort of like not entirely different from the Ewok Village. It's like an endgame platforming test. It's like really pushing your knowledge of the climbing and platforming.
Right, but although there's no stick, there's also no Yorda and no shadows. So this part of the run can almost always go as predicted. There's very little RNG to this except just a little bit of eco-wonky physics when it comes to like grabbing on pipes sometimes. So all you people, all you noobs out there who used to climb really high up this chain because you were nervous that you'd fall off, I bet you feel stupid now.
You shouldn't, because I also always feel nervous about falling out.
Yep, there's no need to climb up them at all. Now this if you miss this jump, it's like another minute to get back to this little spot here. So good job, Blink.
Yes, yes. And,
And
now
now
we
we
do
have
the
to-
hardest jump in
yes.
the game.
Yeah, the jump to this gear right here is deceptively tricky. And oh, we still got it though. That's what matters.
I wanted
and
to
if you
prove
miss
it.
it, you have to find a ladder to get back up there, and it's really annoying.
That
this
jump,
jump is
too,
tough,
is
too.
probably second hardest because the camera's swinging around. Oh, let's not jump right into the water. The camera's swinging around, and you have to jump like at an angle to land on that rolling column. So I'm glad to not have fallen off, because one of those situations where if you fall and need to climb back up, the backup is much harder than the actual thing you're trying to do.
Yeah. Fortunately, we've hidden we've hit a hidden save point here. So if we die in these cliffs, we'll start just where we just came out of that cave. And I think early runners would be kind of happy for that. We're gonna do a pretty cool jump here coming up using the D-pad and a nice little setup we found. That's gonna skip us from having to scaffold along the last little part of this.
Yep.
It's gonna save about 10 seconds.
So do this. Go straight.
Yay!
Yay. So we kind of scooch around that corner until you see Eco's geometry like pop around it, basically. His model and the wall are trying to align themselves. And that gives you just the exact right position and angle to leap and skip that last little climb.
Just using the left D-pad. Of course, the PS2 US version couldn't be that easy. It's at a very awkward angle. You have to use the joystick, and it's really, really hard to get that jump. So most of the time, we don't even try it.
And the PS2 version's in 4x3, so we keep mentioning it, but it's really like going back to the PS2 version feels like playing the Funhouse Mirror version of the game you're familiar with.
Yep. So this is our last like area where we can die, as we do just some fun little like shortcuts of just like cheating just a tiny bit on
Yep.
making our way down here to the bottom, where we'll get the sword that was used at the beginning, which we skipped the cutscenes to see that the guards used before they brought us into this castle in the first place.
This is fun. We pull this chain and then we do this fun like rubber ball bounce to get all the way to the bottom of the chain right away without having to actually climb it. We'll go like this and then bonk, bonk.
I mean, I just hit my head and my back, but sure, I can still grab this chain, no problem.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good. Nina Simone, anybody? No? Okay.
I believe you. All right.
Horns on my head, you know how I feel.
All right, then one last little tiny skip here. Go to this corner. I'm going to check where I am. Looks good. Falling onto
Yeah.
that. If you miss landing on those little idle doors and land instead on the ground, that's just far enough to kill you. So you want to make sure you're lined up. But when you do, it's such a good feeling because from this point,
Yes.
we can't die anymore. We can lose time, but we can no longer die.
Yeah. There's literally only one way you can actively kill yourself, and you never would, because it's so far-fetched. Now we pick up the He-Man sword.
Aha!
I have the power! And we're running with our long yell again. Blink always likes jumping to that little scaffolding there. I'm terrible at it. Ooh! Swaggy jump across the boat, too.
Got your little boat jump there, Sancho.
Nicely done.
Now we can open these doors that previously we needed Yorda for, because this sword is charged with the same energy. And cutscene. All right. And so now we're going into a very long fight. Again, we can't die here, but we can definitely lose a little bit of time.
Yeah, so let's talk lore first, because I'm going to get angry. when I talk about these shadows. So as you come here, you realize you're in the, oh, look at that. You're in the place where you first started.
Mm-hmm.
And all these other shadows you've been fighting this whole time are actually the trapped, imprisoned, enslaved souls of other Horned Boys who'd been sacrificed. 53 other Horned Boys, to be precise. And if one was sacrificed, every generation, we'll just say 30 years. We're talking about like almost 1,600 years that the village was taking boys to be sacrificed to the queen. Which is just, it's crazy to think about.
It's just not good. I don't know what else you could say.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
So the AI here is kind of limited in how they'll respond to you. So you're going to see Blink just kind of moving around to try and get them to land in a place where he could swat them without having to do much motion. And it kind of like traps them in between those two corners. But if he misses them, they can swoop away and take forever to come back to him, and that will lose time. They can also like glitch and just start skating into a wall and never come towards him, and then you have to chase them down. Either of those two things, you can be on a PB pace and then end up losing like a minute here, and it's just, there goes one right there.
Yeah, he might
Just
go
swooping
swooping
away.
for a while.
Yeah, so like, what'd you do wrong? Nothing really.
Yeah.
And there's just some RNG to this, and it's very nerve-wracking. You could have a bad run and then just do great in this and actually PB, or you could have a great run going and then lose like nearly all of your time. Or even if you PB, you're just like, oh, but I lost like 40 seconds here.
They'll always run towards you as long as you're not directly facing them, so it's kind of this juggling act of looking at all the directions they're headed towards you from and then trying to time their trajectory to be like, okay, what direction do I have to be facing to get one to fall into this little nook before the other one gets close enough to jump away?
Yeah. I do like the melody here, and I did write some lyrics for it. You want to know? So it's the shadows singing, and then it's the queen singing, and the shadows are going, and forgive me because I can't actually hear the feed, so I'm going to be most likely off key and out of rhythm and off measure as well. So the shadows are singing, I just crawled out of a hole. I do not have self-control. All that I need, all I can be, is what Queen Karen bids me. And then the queen comes in and she says, you are in jail with no parole. I gave you a heart as black as coal. It doesn't beat. You're incomplete. You're just a piece of soul. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Perfect.
It
Round
never
of applause.
resolves because the
Amazing.
song never resolves. So I should have started at a lower key.
There's poor Yorda. She's a little bit of a statue right now.
Overall, I think that was a pretty good fight. There was only like
Yeah.
one or two swoopers there. I think that would have ended up being a really decent fight. Probably around like the 4-minute range. The best fight we've ever seen is about 340. And a bad fight would probably be around like 420, 430.
Now in this room we go and we're like, oh, this is a dead end and there's nothing here and there's nobody here. We have to just kind of go up, stare at the throne for a sec, and then go back down, and we're greeted with our final boss. He says wait, so of course I jump directly at her.
Wah, 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 wah. Wah, wah. That's all my jokes. See you guys at the end of the run.
Can I get a round of applause? This fight is scripted. She always knocks your sword to the same spots in the room every time. The only real difference you can make is slicing at these bubbles of shadow that she launches at you. If you time your cut just right, you'll keep running forward without losing your momentum. And if you don't, he like stops and holds his sword up for a second, like that. So the only real strategy you're going for is hoping you can cut through those bubbles, but it's surprisingly difficult.
It's gotta be nearly frame perfect, if not. I'd be surprised if it's more than like, yeah, than just 1 or 2 frames in which you can get that bubble cut. And it's really hard to even read, how close the bubble is to you as it's blasting towards you.
You can't. Now that we've grabbed the sword this last time, we no longer can die in this run. I could stand here all day. And she would.
Yeah.
She
Can we
would
do the
just exhaust
backstab?
herself. Yeah, we'll do the backstab. So we normally run up and
Yay.
attack her, but again, we're invincible. So why don't we just get up behind her and just chill on her throne? She's not gonna know. No idea where we are.
Who's queen now? Karen.
And so now we'll teleport to the front of her.
So good. Really good run, Blink. I'm proud
Yeah.
of you. That was great. That was great.
Not time yet. So the best part about running eco, and I legitimately say this is a good thing. This game has a 11-minute, is it, unskippable credits scene, followed by like a minute and a half of the easiest gameplay of everything you've done all run. So as you get to this point, you probably only got here if you're on really good pace. You just get 11 minutes to sort of just like bask in the glory of what you just accomplished, unwind for a second, and then you do your kind of victory lap at the very end and see what your final time is. It's wonderful.
Although this was a deathless run, and it is a tradition for me, whenever I do a deathless run, and I'll do it for you as well, to sing a song. Is it possible to turn the game volume down for just a little bit?
We can certainly ask Tech.
Let's demand it. Chat, demand it. It's fine if you can't. But if you can, yeah.
I'm asking
And-
right now.
Thank you.
And while we do that, again, a very good run, but I do have the horns of shame. Usually you wear them if you have failed something drastically. I guess we could have at East Arena, but just in the spirit of the song, we'll put them on.
And we did get the go-ahead from Tech to lower the game audio. So if you want to take it away, Sancho.
All right. Okay, here we go. When we met, you were in a birdcage. You made the cutest parakeet. All of my life, I felt like a sacrifice. Till you touched me on the cheek, Yorda. Please open doors for me, Yorda. Unleash your inner Palpatine, Yorda. And together we'll escape this castle keep. I am a descendant of wonder. Quit's not in my vocabulary. But when I call and you don't budge at all, sure ups the difficulty, Yorda. Don't shake your head at me, Yorda. Stop chasing whatever kind of birds those are, please, Yorda. And when I hold out my hand, why don't you trust me? Da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Retracted bridge won't separate us. I'll scale the cliffs of insanity. Find the sword of light. Fight 53 shadow guys. I'll stab your mom in the spleen, Yorda. It's your turn to rescue me, Yorda. While the castle's collapsing, Yorda. And we'll split a watermelon on the beach. If this were New Game Plus. Da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum. Da-dum, da-dum. and she sends us on our way.
Man, good
And we
timing
can-
on that one. Beautiful.
Yeah, well
Beautiful.
done. I
And
may
we can turn the game sound back on now.
sure.
Because this song is actually legit really good too.
I may or may not have been swaying along in my chair. That was
Yay!
wonderful.
Shout out to Eric Clapton for the Layla song that we parodied.
Yes. Definitely some people in chat were able to pick up on the parody, so you did good.
I also kind of wanted to do that song. So that's Layla, right? But
Yep.
you know the song Lola?
Oh, yeah.
So like, yeah, you're the... I don't understand why you look like a woman, but you talk like a man. Oh, you're the... It does. I'd never thought of words for that.
Gotta work on that one.
I think it just fits the context. I don't know.
Put that one in the hopper for a little bit
But you
longer.
talk like someone who speaks a different language from me. Oh, you're the... And I love this part because it's showing us all the scenes. Like, it's showing us all the places we've visited. Like, if you just beat this game for the first time, the member berries are, really rich here.
So true. And I mean, you're not wrong. This song is so good. This game has like not that many tracks in its soundtrack, at least not like ones that aren't strictly ambient, but the 4 or 5 that it does have are all so good. Oh, Eco's so good.
Such a good game. And you can even, even though it's unfinished and it doesn't have the pump jump or the watermill and the shadows are harder, you can still play the original early rushed PS2 US release, which I've noticed from chat that many people have played that. They said when they were kids. I was in college, but okay. But nevertheless, it still holds up. Like, if you still have that version of the game and working PS2, you can still go back and play through it, and it's still just as enjoyable, if as also as frustrating as the first time you played it.
Yeah. And if you have never played this game, I mean, I cannot recommend it any higher. Like, it is a top tier recommendation. Easily one of, if not my favorite games, and one that I think almost anyone can enjoy.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people who've played Shadow of the Colossus and really enjoyed that game and know that Eco was made by the same people and is kind of distantly related in the same universe, because, horns. And they've kind of just wondered, should I ever go back to this one? If you enjoyed Shadow, this one is very different in feel, and yet in some ways it feels so similar because Ueda just has a feel to his games.
Just out of curiosity, if you were to recommend playing one first, in an order, which one would you say to play first?
Good question. I think I would probably say start with Eco. I would say it might not matter so much if you play Eco or Shadow of the Colossus first, but I would definitely play Eco before The Last Guardian, because even though
Okay.
the Last Guardian is different in the fact that there's a giant, beautiful dog animal following you around,
Instead of a Yorda.
it's structurally very similar to Eco. It's the closest to an Eco sequel I think we'll ever see. So, yeah, I'd say go Eco first. But if you've already played, that's assuming you've probably already played Shadow.
I haven't played either game, so that's why I was asking for
Yeah.
personal
I
reasons.
I'm old fashioned. I'm always gonna say go in order of release.
That's true. That's true.
And so that would be Eco first, even though Shadow of the Colossus is kind of a prequel, but only a tiny bit. It definitely takes place before Eco. Yeah.
Okay.
And then play Last Guardian when you want a giant pet that doesn't always listen to you.
Does the 30-foot animal equivalent of shaking their head every time you call out to them.
Don't we all have a pet like that at home already?
Yeah, you probably can hear my cat meowing at the door, being like, how dare you not let me in that room for an hour and a half? This is so selfish.
It's like, where is my lap?
Well, I have a 8-year-old daughter, and she definitely resembles Trico a lot more than she does Yorda most of the time when I'm asking her to do things. And I'm the better for it.
Have you gotten a chance to sit down and play Eco with her?
Oh yeah, we've done 2-player where she plays as Yorda.
Oh, that's fun.
So that was a lot of fun doing it. Two player is its own thing. I've noticed Gorister and Vexel in chat. They have the world record for the 2-player run, and it's fascinating the extra shortcuts they were able to make by controlling Yorda as well. Because you notice there's a lot of our run where we're just kind of like, all right, Yorda, stand here. All right, Yorda, come along. And if someone else is doing that actively instead of just waiting for RNG and AI, it really does make for some cool tricks.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That sounds like fun.
All right, so we ended our credits here. We wash up on the beach, and you think that we're done, but we have to just take a little bit of a jog, and then we'll be good. He's gonna climb out of this boat, and he's gonna do the least graceful belly flop that you've ever seen in your life.
After all of his jumps, he's done so well. After those death jumps, yeah. And yet he's gonna like dust it off and be like, "Oh, I hope no one saw that," and just start running again.
Kind of embarrassed, looks around like, I think I'm good. Like, all right, I can get out of this boat, no problem.
So yeah, when you've hit a PB and you've had a split like at stabbing the queen, this part like it's only gonna vary 1 or 2 seconds. From beach run to beach run. It's hard to keep a straight line. As you can see, he's going to try, as opposed to following the crescent of the shore, he's going to try and run in a straight line to where Yorda is. And it's really hard to do that because the camera is not giving you a very good angle for it. But you only lose like a couple seconds. So this really is a victory lap if you hit a PB when you stab the queen, and it's just kind of fun.
Yes. Yep. For a while he'll go off camera, but we're just kind of trusting the direction we're running. And I do apologize that this is blindingly white. There's really no way around it. This is a very light bloomed beach.
Yeah, and if you were to adjust the visual settings so that this wasn't like that, then you would not be able to see in the dark parts of East and West Arena. It's not a good trade.
But look, what's this? We thought we left her behind in the castle, but who is this that I see? It has a happy ending.
Yay, here's Yorda, and we usually hit the timer when the cutscene changes camera angles. I'll let you say when. Blink.
And time.
Woohoo!
Nice.
But we gotta wait and see what the in-game time was as well.
Yeah, sure. Good job, though.
Yeah.
Blink.
Thank you. Very fun. This is an excellent game. I think to learn a speedrun if you've never learned one before. It's, despite all the parts where I told you it was nerve-wracking, most of the time there's ways to recover from it, and it's, in a lot of spots, a very comfy run. So I would encourage anybody who's thinking about learning this game to check out the Team Eco Speedruns Discord. Come say hi. As you can probably tell, very, very friendly group of people that are very happy to teach this game to you. All right, so we go by the in-game time. We'll save over this 132.
You only lost like a minute or so. I'm gonna guess this might still be sub 130 because everything else went so well.
132.14. Nice. Very good.
I guess my calculating is time flies when you're doing this. You're and we're just talking. I always think it was so much. What was it last? We did a practice run and we thought I was like, this might be like a 138, and it was like a 142. And it's basically we were just goofing off and talking the whole time and having fun.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun, as they say.
Yeah.
But if either of you have any shout outs you'd like to give before we wrap up tonight's episode, feel free.
Yeah, so first off, you can come follow me over on my Twitch channel. It's Blink It's OOM, like out of memory. I do eco speedruns, and then I also do a wide variety of other stuff too. Some other speedruns in the works, some other fun projects, and some casual stuff too. And please, I'll let him shout himself out, but also go follow Sancho Panda. I cannot tell you how instrumental he was in helping me learn this game. He's been an incredible friend, an incredible teacher, and a delightful person to be around basically at all times. So don't forget to go give him a follow as well.
Yeah, and thanks, Blink. You had more time than I did, so you were able to do the run at this event, and this is my third time to commentate Eco. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
We appreciate it either way.
Yeah.
But I'm super proud of you and how far you've pushed yourself in this game. And Blink, his Twitch stream is very, like, he's got a very good schedule that he keeps, and it's super fun and just as chill as this run was. So if you like the vibes that we've put out tonight and you just want to relax some evening, definitely go visit his channel. I have my own channel. It's a little more sporadic, but the one thing I will say is that all revenue I make goes to hunger relief charity in Texas. So.
And if you come to either of our channels, as I mentioned, we can get you sent over to the Team Eco Speedruns Discord. All of the away to games kind of share one larger community. There's a lot of crossover between people that run this and Shadow and The Last Guardian. Everyone across all of those communities is incredibly friendly. They're all some of the most wonderful people that I know. And so be very happy to have anyone else come that is interested in learning any of those 3 games or just wants to be around very friendly, very kind people.
Well, thank you both so very much for being here. Again, everybody, if you enjoyed this run, please make sure you follow Blinkoom and Sancho Panda here on Twitch.
You did the Texas.
We were talking about that just before.
We talked about this.
Sancho, you know what? It's getting late, and I sincerely apologize.
I do have people who call me Sancho Panda, and then they're just being intentionally
It's just
cruel, you know?
more, I don't know, dramatic that way.
Yeah.
But it's been an absolute pleasure having both of you on. Tune in tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with The Bargain Bin, followed by Speedruns from the Crypt. I have been your host, Smooth Operative. Always a pleasure seeing you all. Thank you so much for being here and have a great rest of your day or night. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.